You are now tuned into Somewhere in the Middle with Sunni and Mo.
Ay, 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 ay. Ay, 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 ay.
Hey, Don on the beat.
I got so many ops.
Everywhere I go, I
got so many ops.
so many ops.
I know they plotting against me. I know it's hate, they wanna kill me, but please don't tempt me, cause I got so many glocks. Hey, ain't none of them empty. Jesus said they would hate me too. That's how I know it's envy. I got so many ops.
Hey guys,
that
welcome.
intro.
I love it too. Always. Welcome back. Even we just saw you yesterday.
I know. We were on here for hours, man.
Yes, it was such a good show. For those of you guys that didn't
was
join,
fun.
we had over 2,000 people at one point.
It's amazing.
It was
All these people
amazing.
came out to watch. And they came out to watch independent minds discuss the debates. Oh,
Yeah, exactly. Now that you've had a night to sleep on I said the election. How funny is that? On the debate.
Yeah.
Now that you've had a night to kind of sleep on it and process it, what are your thoughts now? Have they changed? Have they evolved any?
no,
No.
it hasn't. I honestly think DeSantis did more damage to his presidential campaign than good.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think he really understands that he shot himself in the foot. And it's not even because of him. It's because of how very uneducated American voters are, because they're led by their emotions. And that's what Gavin Newsom did
Mm-hmm.
at a crazy level. All he
Yeah.
did was pander to feelings. It was
Yeah.
wild to watch.
Wild. And you know what's crazy is I went straight to Twitter because I couldn't sleep, and I was, I always have like the post-show adrenaline that like stays with me. I went to Twitter just to kind of see what was going on. And it's quite funny to see on Twitter that there was like a lot of people that were like, DeSantis has just killed it. He just dragged Newsom. And I was just like, y'all are
No, he
out
didn't.
here lying. I don't know what debate you watched. Okay. But y'all are either being paid to tell these people that he did that. Because like I was seeing people who I respect. Okay. Like Leo Terrell. And he was just like, oh man, DeSantis just like, he killed it. Like he just slaughtered Newsom.
Leo Terrell's biased though. He's gonna rock with anybody who is the right-leaning front runner in some
Yeah.
form or fashion.
Yeah, I know.
And he's
but
old.
see,
Who cares? He's old.
but I guess that's the point, right? Like there's all these people out here that are going to tell everybody what they want to hear.
Mhm.
But here we are on our channel telling people like the real deal. That's why we had over 2,000 people watching, because we were keeping it real. We had people from the left, people from the right.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
There's a lot of
It
people
was
on here.
amazing. Yeah.
Here
was
you
awesome.
go.
Oh, sorry.
Here you go.
Breaking
news.
news.
Trump indicted for selling Sunni and Maggot. You know what? You want to know what's funny? Is I didn't get sold this, but this is definitely the hat that I wore when I went to the Trump rally, when I sat behind him.
Given to her directly by Trump's team, right? So
The first
technically,
black person they saw.
he didn't sell it to her. He gave it to her for free.
$3.99. It's right here.
Oh man, that's so awesome. People are liking your background. That's good. See, they like
Everybody
the-
likes the new background. Awesome.
Yeah, you guys can't tell it's morning time where
something
Sunni's at.
This is Mo's idea, by the way. Shout out to Mo.
Well, I was just like, my background is so like kind of purpley, and I have like the red, and Sunni's got the red flag, and I was like, why don't you put the purple light on?
Yeah.
Sorry, take the
It was
sunlight
like
out.
It was like a greenish color. I actually like this. This is a little vibe. We're
It's
good.
a vibe. It's a vibe for sure. Hey,
Matt Cal, what
okay.
up?
So let's start with like you guys that are coming in. Please make sure to hit that like and subscribe and share button, all that stuff. Tell us what's up in the comments. Holly B says it's a vibe. Tell us what's up in the comments. We are going to be having a guest today who is a former OnlyFans model turned activist, and we're going to tell you a little bit more about that in a second. But we always like to start the show with some fun stuff, and I mentioned this to Sunni right before the show started, and you know me, I always like to like talk about weird shit. So I wanted to talk about this. I wanted to talk about this lady who it's actually, it was funny, right? Until it wasn't. It was funny until it wasn't.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, like it was funny. We actually wanted to bring it up a couple of days ago. I wanted to bring it up a couple of days ago. and because it was funny, the story was funny, and then it turned not so funny, and I was like, man, we got to bring this up. So this lady, Christina, I'm going to show you a video in a second. Christina Rebels Glick. She the initial video was of her getting arrested on the beach for something. I'm going to show you the video in a second. The sad outcome of this story is she ended up committing suicide.
Yeah.
And holy cow. So here is said with the foot model question. I don't know. We don't know, said. This is my first time talking to her. I don't know if she did foot modeling or what type of modeling she did.
Everybody's in for a treat. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're gonna find. Suni knows more about Bailey.
Shout out to the first candidate of Whore No More. By the way, guys, this is a whore outreach community. Swear, I'm not even joking when I tell you
Bella
they
was our
hashtag
first
this stuff
customer
in Discord. Bella was the first customer.
She was our first customer. Bella, I heard you're doing great with your 12-step program. And
6 months. How many months now?
It hasn't been 6 months since we interviewed her.
No, I'm saying like how many months does she have left?
Oh,
Wasn't
yeah.
it like 2 months ago we did that?
It was like 2 months ago. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I heard from Sue the other day. You're doing great. So I'm excited to hear your progress. We're going to have you back on the show to hear how you are changing your life for the better.
Heck yeah.
So amazing. Okay, so let me just play this video of this lady. And this is from my buddy at Failure to Stop, Tansy. He just made this funny video, and I was like, this is so funny. Okay, so here you go, guys. Wait, am I sharing audio? As usual.
Oh man. Boomer moment.
It was my first boomer moment of the night already happening. All right, here we go.
Just look out at it and think to yourself, you know what I could use right now?
Sitting on the water like this, and I just put it in there, and it was covered up, and I just had an orgasm. I'm sorry, I was stressed out.
Okay, hang tight for me. I mean, if nobody saw this, they wouldn't have called, right?
Man, please, don't do this to me. Are you serious?
All right, so what is your craziest first responder story? You want to talk about it on the Fair to Stop podcast? Let me know down in the comments.
I love Eric. So Eric is a former police officer. I was actually on his show. I met him through Drew Breezy. He's hilarious. But if you guys didn't get what was going on there, so this lady was masturbating on the beach. She was some passerby saw her on the beach, and she was masturbating. And her defense was that she thought she wasn't in view of anybody, and she was having like a really stressful day, and she just decided really quick just to like, you know, either rub one out or like she had a vibrator, I don't know, and somebody saw her and reported her, and she got arrested. She got arrested for doing that on the beach. Well, the sad, tragic of events of this story is that this lady's from Tybee Island, Georgia. She has died by suicide, and this is terrible. This is the terrible thing about the internet. Is apparently she faced a lot of public shaming and backlash after this story broke online. And she felt basically like she had been exposed. I mean, granted, you exposed yourself. Okay. Christina, may you rest, but I'm sorry. You were masturbating on a beach. I'm just going to say this. And I'm not saying this to be cruel, but if you commit suicide over something like this, and I know that the internet can be cruel, but chances were you had some stuff going on before this happened, and this was just like the tipping point for you. So yeah, I mean, this took a toll on her mental health and ultimately led to her untimely death. So this is just,
man, you know, I'm
really
trying
sad thing.
really hard to not just be so honest with my thoughts, because I don't think you should share everything.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna lie. I'm just gonna do it.
Oh god,
This story,
she's dead, Suni, and you're gonna give her a pill
I know
IT?
that. I know that. But her actions, you earned it. Like that
Yeah.
is- I'm trying to be nice. Rest in peace to her. Condolences,
Yeah.
seriously. But you killed yourself. That's taking the coward's way out.
Well, and
It is what it
this
is.
this is even the saddest part. So I didn't even realize this when I posted the video, but this incident that we just showed actually happened in 2021, and she recently committed suicide. So my question is,
I'm not laughing at that.
how did this resurface? Like, how did it just like, hey, we're gonna re-show this video of this woman? See, it's so weird. It's like, because I always say like nothing is by mistake, like on the internet. I think,
You
yeah,
think
and you know
she was
what?
just blit? You
I
think
don't
they
know,
put
man.
the heat under her and was like, let's get this story back out?
I
Some
guess.
stuff
I
is
don't-
just really just scandalous though, and it gets shared like crazy.
yeah. She was in the water, Mad Cow. I thought I read that too. Like, so how do you know somebody's masturbating in the water unless she was
She
just
was.
like
I don't think she was quiet then.
maybe she was laying on the beach and the water, like
Oh,
the waves were crashing up against her. Maybe she walked out of the water and she had her
What?
toy with her, and somebody was like, "What the hell's going on?" I don't know.
I don't even
Anyway.
want to imagine the scene. That's disgusting. Go home, and if you can't wait till you get home, you got more issues than you think you do. Like stress is the least of your worries. If you can't wait till you get home to do that,
Yeah.
like you
Yeah.
had to do it at the beach.
Well, I mean, but
In
it's
the
like,
it would be different if she went there at night. It's pitch black. Nobody can see you, but you go
yeah.
there during the day.
I mean, it's no different, I think, than people who, get caught men masturbating in their car or whatever. There's people that just like get off on doing things in public.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
Oh, kids saw her. Oh, yikes.
Just
Hey.
repeal the 19th. How about that?
I don't know. Anyways, before we introduce Bailey, do you got any weird stories you want to bring up before we bring our guest on?
No, you took the cake with that. I ain't got no weird stories.
Yeah.
That's an odd situation she put herself in.
First of all, Mad Cow knows way too much about this story.
For real, because I didn't even know nothing about this story.
Mad Cow. I don't know, man.
I know nothing about this story.
I don't know nothing about this story. Hey, if you were in the live or in the comments before the live actually started, I was actually doing like a fun little OnlyFans question and answer, and JC was actually the only one in here at the time. So we were doing a fun little OnlyFans like question and answer. And if you guys want some fun OnlyFans facts really quick, I didn't know this, but the average earning of an OnlyFans creator is $150 to $180 a month.
What?
Yeah, they had people like crunch the numbers, okay, and they came up with it. It's in 2022.
Sorry.
OnlyFans paid out $10 billion to
And what?
$10 billion to their over 2 million creators since their founding in 2016.
Bro.
Crazy, right? And a lot of people, I think, have the misconception that OnlyFans was created for people who do sex work or people that want to sell their feet or whatever. That actually wasn't what it was originally created for. In 2016, it was a subscription-based platform for just exclusive content. So people like makeup artists and hairstylists and people that had like, even people who cooked had things that they would share on there for a fee, right? But then COVID came along and people like sex workers who couldn't get out on the street, right, and do what they normally do in a physical way,
Yeah.
took advantage of OnlyFans and decided to pick up their income over there. I mean, so that's really how it blew up. And I was looking to see who the most highest earners are on OnlyFans, and surprisingly enough, Bad Baby, she just found out she didn't just find out, but she just announced she's pregnant. Bad Baby and Cardi B are the top two earners on OnlyFans, having earned $59.8 million for Bad Baby.
Doing what?
Or I don't know. You got to subscribe to find out. And 46.7 million for Cardi B.
So do you think OnlyFans just has a bad rep because of what it gets promoted for? Like when you hear about OnlyFans, it's usually
Sex.
porn. Yeah.
Yeah, porn. I'm kind of torn. Like I personally obviously wouldn't have, I don't want to say obviously, it's not obvious, right? But like I personally wouldn't have an OnlyFans where I would like sell pictures of my feet or my naked body. That's just me personally.
Yeah.
Do I say that's better over a woman being out in the street having promiscuous sex with men for money? I would say, yeah, it is better than that. You're safe if that's what you're going to do, right? I would say there's other options to make money, but if that's what you're going to do, I would say it's a safer way to be a sex worker.
I mean, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But
I
we can
don't know.
ask our guest what her thoughts
Yeah.
are. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna bring her on, but I wanted to kind of let you know we have our guest here. Her name is Bailey K. Jones. Suni actually found her on Discord.
Yeah.
Discord. On Discord. Not found her, but interacted with her on Discord and decided that she wanted to bring her onto the show because we had such a great time when we had Bella on here. And she was like, I think we should interview her. So I was like, okay, cool. So she used to do OnlyFans. I don't know what kind of OnlyFans she did, but we're going to find out. But she is not only an OnlyFans or former OnlyFans model, she's also an activist in Tennessee for the Tennessee Advocates for Planned Parenthood. So she's going to talk about that as well. She's a mother of 2 boys. And we're just going to bring her on and Mo's going to grill her. I'm a griller. Just joking. I'm going to be nice to her. She's a sweet girl. So let's bring in Bailey to the show. Hey, Bailey.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are y'all?
Good. Suni, I'm going to get rid of that truth in the marketplace on your face because I don't like it.
I'll make a smaller. Got it.
Okay. Got it. All right, Bailey. So welcome to the show. We're happy to have you on. Everybody in the comments say hi to Bailey. As we talk to Bailey, if you guys want to follow Bailey, all of her social media tags are in our description box below. If you guys have any questions for Bailey, please either, if you're watching from my channel, hit the super chat button, send a super chat, or put it in the comments and we will try to address your question when we get to that point. So Bailey, why don't you start by telling us just a little bit about yourself today?
So today, I'm 24. I've been doing a lot of political advocacy for a lot of different causes. Right now I'm with Tennessee Activists for Planned Parenthood.
Mm-hmm.
There's a big misconception that we promote abortions mainly.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Planned Parenthood traditionally is known for being I'm so sorry, I'm so nervous.
No,
being
you're fine.
an abortion provider, but in our communities, especially from where I grew up, I'm from Nashville, but I'm not from the yeehaw fun part of Nashville. We're from the more poor side of things, I'd say. And they provided, birth control, condoms, the sex ed we don't get in Tennessee. I'm not sure if y'all have sex ed and where y'all are, because I'm not 100% sure. But Tennessee's abstinence only, and I'm sure, that works for some people, but for me and people around here, we weren't abstaining, and Planned Parenthood kind of stepped in and gave us protection from unplanned pregnancies. Gave that to, and in politics in Tennessee, they do a lot of that kind of stuff as well.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, I'm a mom to 2 little boys.
How old are your boys?
7 and 2.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Are you married?
I'm not.
Boyfriend? Girlfriend?
I'm divorced.
Divorced. Okay. You said you're 26,
Yes.
you said? Or 24?
I'm 24.
Okay. And and I have to ask this because you're straight, right? Like we strictly
Yes.
dickly? Okay, strictly dickly.
Yes,
okay,
strictly
dickly. Okay,
Strictly
perfect.
dickly.
I mean, you just have to ask. I mean,
That took me out.
Yeah.
That's okay.
I just want to ask because you never know. Like, we had Bella on here and she liked the ladies and the fellas and, we're open to all.
That's okay.
We're open to all. Yeah.
That's okay. No, I am strictly dickly. It's a good question to ask.
Awesome. Okay. And we're pro dicks over here. Okay. So
Me too.
we're pro dicks. Okay. So you have 2 little boys. You are recently divorced or you've been divorced for a while?
It's pretty recent,
Okay.
I'd say. I mean,
Okay.
as
How long?
far
married?
as when did we get married? 2018.
Okay.
I was like, I think I was 19. I could be very wrong.
Okay. And is your ex-husband the father of your two boys?
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. Okay, perfect. Alrighty. Okay, so I think what everybody wants me to get into is the OnlyFans part, right?
Absolutely.
So
Let's go from there.
talk to me about OnlyFans. When did you start it? Why did you start it?
So I actually only did it for 2 months. I started it because I was in a really sticky financial situation, and it was more so a situation of like, I'm about to be up shit creek with no paddle if I don't, make this money fast. And I mean, I had a job lined up and it fell through, and I was like, fuck. I was like, okay, what am I going to do? Like, I have to figure something. I was cleaning houses, couldn't make the ends meet, just couldn't. There's so much. How do I even explain that? There was so much that needed to be paid for and taken care of, especially, I don't get government benefits. I don't. Is that a cat? Sorry.
Yes.
Love it. Yeah, it was just, I had to get it real fast. I had to make sure that my boys were taken care of before anything. And I'm sure, there were better ways to do it, but sometimes
you got to do what you got to do.
It was just, you just got to do what you got to do. But
so
it was only about 2 months.
What were you doing? Like, just so we can get perspective of when this was, how old were your boys, and what were you doing before that you were out of a job?
What'd you say? I'm sorry.
I said, how old were your boys when you started doing it, and what were you doing that you were out of a job that became an option? So
I was a stay-at-home mom for I homeschooled my oldest last year. Mm-hmm. And when we split up, our relationship was over. I was kind of like blindsided by it. I mean, ultimately it was, let's just say I was blindsided. It was out of the blue. This was somebody that I thought I was going to spend the rest of my life with. I was a stay-at-home mom. I had the dream, that kind of thing. And then all of a sudden I was out and had to be. I couldn't save it. So then it was just like, okay, I have to figure it out now. My car had broken down, and I was like, okay, this is great. Can't go back and forth. It was just so hard going from focusing 100% on my kids to being ass out, basically. But my oldest was still 7 because I only did it for 2 months. And my youngest was about to be 2.
Okay, so this is recent.
Yes, this is very recent.
Okay, so you literally just stopped doing OnlyFans like recently?
Yes.
Okay, so what type of content did you produce on OnlyFans?
They were basically just nudes that I had taken. A lot of them were old. It was just recycling old things, just posting them. Gosh, I could look back, but a lot of it was just nudes.
Okay, so hold on just a second. So take me back for a second. So you decide. So the quick gist of it is you are in need of quick cash, quick income, and this OnlyFans idea pops into your head, and you're like, I can just create an account and just like take some old pictures that I have in my phone, start uploading them, and start making money instantly, right? How much money did you make doing OnlyFans?
So my first, I want to say week, I made about $1,200. That was 1 week.
Wait,
That's
what?
crazy.
What?
That's
girl?
wild.
$1,200. So you get paid weekly or daily, or what is it?
So it's the cash out process. It's I want to say, yeah, I think it's about a week that you have to hold the funds, and then once you hit $20, you can cash out. But I mean,
Wow.
I had a pretty good amount off the rip, but it was a
Did
Yeah.
you have somebody who like coached you how to do this, or you were just like,
I had a
have
friend. I had a friend who had done it, who had been coached by other girls, but she gave me tips, but I kind of went from there. But
Mhm.
it's OnlyFans. It doesn't really take all that much.
Right, because you just got to post good content, right? It's just like anything
Yeah.
else on social media, just good content. Well, you
Mhm.
must have had some good pics stored up. Let me just say that $1,200 a week. So that was your first check, and you did it for 2 months. What was it like after that? After that first check?
It kind of slowed down a little bit, but not by much. I mean,
Mhm.
I was making I would have to look back to tell you exactly how much I was making. I want to say I'd have to look back, but I was making a solid $800 a month baseline because
Mhm.
just the amount of subscribers divided by the price of the subscription. So that was just a
Wow.
baseline, no tips, nothing.
That's crazy. Did you show your face in the photos, or was it just from the neck down?
Some of them I did. Some of them
Oh,
I did
wow.
show my in them. Some of them I didn't. It was just pictures in my underwear.
So some of it wasn't even that revealing.
Yeah, some of it wasn't even that
Mhm.
revealing.
Mhm.
And then
Wow.
sometimes I would just go live with my friend and paint in lingerie. It wasn't.
Oh, you can go
We'd
live on
get a
there
good
too.
amount. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So you only did it for 2 months. What was it that
Mhm.
made you want to get out of it?
I just didn't like. I didn't like being objectified. You know,
Mm.
like I've just had enough of it, and I was like, this is just. I don't like giving these people the satisfaction, no matter how much they pay me. It's just they don't deserve it. They don't deserve so much of me.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah.
Did you get a lot of like creepy guys asking you to do more, or like propositioning you for other things in there?
No, nobody really asked me for. I mean, they didn't go as far to be like, "Oh, come have sex with me," because it very obviously isn't something I would do.
Mhm.
All of them were creeps.
All
There
of
were
them
a
were
very
creeps.
select few that were not super creepy.
Yeah. Wow. And just because I always like to ask this question, of girls that, and I'm not trying to say this to like demean you or anything like that, but like of
Oh,
girls
you're okay.
who do this type of stuff, what was your relationship like with your parents and your father and all that stuff?
So that actually plays a huge part of this because I will say that my father was not involved, and my mother's borderline personality disorder type of thing. My childhood, we were abused not by my mother, but there was sexual abuse for a lot of. I have to count my siblings, but basically in total, I want to say 9 siblings. Some on my dad's side that I didn't meet until later, but then the ones on my mom's side, there was a lot of abuse,
Mm-hmm.
a lot, and we were abused. The girls were sexually abused.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was. I didn't come out and tell my mom until I was like 16. It was very upsetting for her. She didn't handle it the right way.
What does that mean?
That
Like she tried to like say you must be mistaken. Like how did that?
She said I was just saying it to hurt her. But that was just her initial reaction. I forgave her for that. it was really hard for me. It was really hard to forgive her for, you know, not being 100% supportive. She's still not, and never will be, and that's okay. What else? Yeah, my dad just was not there. We're trying to somewhat reconcile what we can of a relationship. I don't think it's going to happen ever. I really don't. That's painful, I will say, very painful. I'm very open to talk about it, just to share, like, you know, it does play a huge part into, like, all of this. Everything that I've gone through adds up to where I am today. But that was a huge, huge thing. The abandonment, that kind of thing. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And then for him to immediately go on and have more children and be a great dad to them. But then, you know, it always leaves that hurt of like, well,
what was wrong with you?
Why wasn't I good enough? Like, what's wrong with me? And then you carry that through everything in life, not just like romantic relationships. Like, you know, I had no self-confidence whatsoever. I mean, damn near until this year, I want to say.
Yeah. Oh, wow. That recent, huh?
Yeah.
Do you feel like and I don't want to get into like the details of your relationship or your prior marriage so much, but like, do you feel like whatever happened there was kind of affected by your relationship with your father and with men in general?
Yes, absolutely.
Was that abusive? Was that an abusive relationship in any way?
I want to say a lot. Emotionally, he was very manipulative, and I let it go a lot further than what it should have. Just because, you know, I wanted someone to love me unconditionally, but that should have been my dad, ultimately. You know, I was looking for that love in another man. I would let him, you know, manipulate me, gaslight me, all kinds of crazy shit, just because, you know, I was like, well, this is unconditional love. Like, maybe if I, you know, just go with what he wants. You know, I was basically a traditional, like, I'm going to stay home. I'm going to cook for the kids. I'm going to cook you lunch. I'm, you know, all of that. I kept a clean house. I cleaned the shit out of that house. And it just didn't seem like it was enough.
Wow. And is he involved with?
That's because he was the wrong man.
He was the wrong man. Is he involved with his son? So you guys have a amicable relationship now?
We're okay, I'd say. We have our moments where we blow up at each other, and it's just because it's really frustrating, you know, navigating the world without you know, I come home from work, I bust my ass all day. I come home, I have to handle the kids all by myself. I don't get a break ever. And, you know, it's frustrating, and I get frustrated at him, but I think it's, you know, it's valid. It's understandable.
Do you think about, like, you're a mom of 2 boys, which is kind of like ironic almost, right? Because you didn't have a good role model as a father. And here you are, a woman who didn't feel like you had a good mother, supportive mother. So it's like you're just trying to figure out how to be a woman. And at the same time, now you kind of have to play the role of a mother and father to your boys, in a sense. What is your outlook on that as a parent? Like, you know, even with the OnlyFans, like, do you think about that? Like, your boys one day will become young men, and what if they come across these images of you?
You know, that would be heartbreaking for one, but I would be okay with explaining to them as adults. You know, I had to, because I had to take care of it. Like, I had shit to pay for. Y'all are not cheap. Y'all are not cheap to raise. And it was just so sudden being on my own, which I was, you know, I was on my own for the first time in my life. So it's like there are only so many ways that you can handle that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and make
Yeah.
things happen that quickly. And I felt like this was my safest option.
Mm-hmm.
If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said at the beginning of the show, I personally would never do OnlyFans or anything like that. I wouldn't even go as far as to like be a stripper. I can say that because my life is very comfortable and great. I don't know what I would do if I was in a position where I had to feed my babies, you know, take care of things. I don't know. Nobody ever really knows. And I want to extend and let you know I'm extending you grace, right? Because I understand as a mother, you would go to the ends of the world for your babies as a mom. You know what I mean? So I totally understand
Absolutely.
that. But I'm also very interested in like the how you get to that place versus like, you know, how somebody like I would think about it or Suni would think about it. Suni, you put a comment up there. Somebody, I guess, had a problem with me asking her how her relationship with her father was. I'm not trying to demean you. Oh, they're quoting me. I'm not trying to demean you,
No.
but how was your relationship with your father? So you knew it was demeaning.
I mean,
I think you're reading too much into it.
yeah, I mean, if I could,
It's okay. I feel like
it's not. Me and Bambi talk all the time in Discord,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
When we can't be honest with ourselves, we can't fix anything about ourselves.
Mhm.
And I've seen a drastic difference in this girl in a couple months. So when you're listening to somebody like me talk 24/7 and I'm like, yep, no daddy, you're probably effed up. That's not me trying to make you feel bad about yourself. That's calling a spade a spade. I grew up with no daddy, and guess what? I was effed up.
Mhm.
I can talk about these things because we've all experienced it. But if
Yeah.
you can't admit that there's a problem, then there's no way you can fix it. How can she progress if she doesn't acknowledge publicly? Number one, she's in the public eye. So the fact
Yeah.
that she's doing this interview is great because people
Yeah.
get to see the transparency, her story, where she came from. So it's not demeaning.
Yeah.
These are two strangers that don't know this person from Adam, but I'm willing to listen to your story and I want other people to hear your story because her story is
And
not
I-
just OnlyFans.
Exactly.
This is a segment of the
That's
show. It's a segment.
Mhm.
She's out up
Yeah.
here being attacked. Relax.
Yeah.
No, it's okay. And I feel like some of these people probably know me personally because I've posted like the
Yeah.
link onto my stuff, and they're probably like, oh, she had no idea what she was getting into. But no, like I talk to Suni all the time. I knew that some of these questions were coming, and I don't think that I don't think that any of this is demeaning. Like there is a correlation, absolutely, to, I don't want to say fatherless behavior, but like, you know, growing up without a dad, I had no man. Well, I had men in my life that tried, but they didn't have the full power of a father, you know?
Right. Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
and you know what? The truth is, and this, I don't know who this person Cage is, but they're getting very defensive of you, which is, I mean, I'm assuming they know you.
I have no idea.
Okay. You know, this is the thing about this show is, and the purpose of why we bring, you know, we're bringing somebody like you on, and why we brought Bella on. We've brought a person who was transition, you know, who went through transition of their sexuality and then detransition back. Is we're really big, even me and Suni personally, we're really big on our stories, right? We all have a story and different levels, but we're all effed up in one way or another. Okay. Like different
true.
we're different degrees of effed up, every single one of us. Okay. So it's about the story. Okay. So I know that some of you guys are getting very protective, or maybe you feel like we're attacking her. It's just that we're hoping one person or two people will come in here and be like, that was me, or that, you know, that a part of that I resonate with. So if that happens, that's great. If you grew up without a dad or a mom and your life was completely messed up, but your grown-up life turned out amazing, thank goodness for you. Okay. I am so happy for you. We're here to tell Bailey's story. Bailey's our guest, and that's who we're interviewing. So
Yeah. No, it's okay. I can handle my big girl battles, y'all. It's okay, I promise.
Yeah, no. And again, like very brave to come up here because, you know, the comment section can be a little rough sometimes.
Everybody's been really nice so far. Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I think there's definitely a correlation between you know, the dad comment and whatnot. And I wish that I had the balls to tell him that myself. Might send him, you know, the link to this live later and be like, listen to it. But
Hey, that
Yeah.
might
I don't know.
that might just work.
You
That
know,
might just work.
funny story.
Maybe.
I actually, the way me and Suni, well, not the way we met, but when we first met, I actually brought her on my channel to interview her. And I wanted to hear her story. And she told her story. And I think I think either was your mom or somebody in your family, like saw the video
Yeah.
and reported back through her family
Yep.
what the video was all about. Oh, yeah, it was crazy. So, you know, hey, like this is what we do. Her and I have both been subject to this. Okay. So
Yeah.
we're not putting you under any fire. We don't put each other under at all.
Nah.
Yeah, that's okay.
This
I feel
is
fine. It's been
necessary. It's necessary.
Yeah, it is necessary for sure. And I mean, I have these hard conversations in therapy all the time. I mean, I've been in
That's
therapy
good.
for like
You're
a
in
year or
therapy.
so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're in
absolutely.
therapy. That's awesome.
Absolutely. And
That's
I
awesome.
took that initiative myself because, you know, you have to. You're not gonna listen to anything
What made you
anybody
do
says.
that? What was the catalyst for you to say, okay, I need to go to counseling?
I knew I needed to. I've been through counseling a couple of times. I started the first time when I was 9, I want to say. I can't remember why back then. I think it's because people knew that my home situation wasn't great. My grandmother put me in counseling the first time, and you know, she stepped up a lot in other people's absence and other people's weakness. But the second time I went to counseling was after I was sexually assaulted. I'm so sorry. When I was 19, so a long time before I started OnlyFans, for anybody that wants to try to make that inference. It was way before I was a whore, you know? But I went through counseling then because it was free through the state of Tennessee, through the Sexual Assault Center, which was a crazy, like, valuable resource to me right afterwards. So the Sexual Assault Center, I went through counseling there. It was too much for me because it was only 6 months after I had been sexually assaulted, and I wasn't ready to open up about it yet. And, you know, all the issues, it was just a lot. But then I had a lot of trauma from that time until I want to say about halfway through my pregnancy with my second. And then with my second child, I got, is it prenatal depression? I don't know I can't remember the term for it.
Oh, postpartum.
It was before I gave birth, so it had a different name. But I had postpartum as well.
Oh, girl, that's just called being pregnant. It sucks. There ain't no name for that. It
was bad. It was really bad. But I have really bad mental health issues in my family, and so I was having thoughts of suicide while I was pregnant. I was like, I packed up all of my baby's stuff one day. And I was like, okay, I'm going to give birth and I'm going to give him to a good family and I'm just going to go do it.
Oh man.
That's when I realized something was really wrong. I told my OB about it, and luckily she prescribed me Zoloft, actually, for my depression. I had never been medicated before. And as soon as I started taking that and like I had gotten used to it, it was like a whole new life for me, truly. Like I had been living my entire life. I was diagnosed with depression when I was like 10 years old.
Gosh.
And yeah, it was pretty bad. But it was like a whole new world. Like I was able to wake up and, you know, have y'all seen that scene in the Barbie movie where she's like, do any of y'all think about dying? Everybody's
no,
like,
I haven't seen it.
I've only seen that one scene and I'm like, you know, I kind of resonate with that. But it was like I was able to just not think about like my own demise and my own struggles, and I wasn't so sad. I was able to feel like a person, you know? And it was so different. It was so different. And then when I had the time, when my son was a little older and I could leave him for about an hour at a time.
You couldn't leave him for more than an hour at a time?
I had to leave him for an hour when I would do therapy.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's breastfed still. He's a little clingy. But
oh, that's he's 2 years old. You're still breastfeeding.
Yeah, that's when I started going to counseling.
Yeah.
Oh, God, I wish I wasn't. But yeah, that's when I started going to counseling this time, and it's just I have the best therapist in the world. Honest to God,
that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. It's funny. Soon and I we have thoughts about we don't have thoughts about depression, but we have opinions about depression. And like whether depression is real or if it's like something that's in somebody's head. And I have friends that are depressed. My own daughter actually went through depression. She went through suicidal thoughts, all that stuff. And even being as close to it as I was, I've never been depressed. So I don't understand. The way people describe it to me is it's not as easy as somebody just saying like, you know, just buck up, like, you know, get up, do stuff, like it'll get better. My understanding from people who have clinically diagnosed depression is that it's not that easy. And it's like you're drowning basically, and you just cannot get yourself out of it. So I'm glad to hear that you were able to make a good connection with the therapist and the medication seemingly helped you. Also going back to just the thought that you had to pack up your son's stuff and like leave him with a family. I mean, that right there tells me you were somewhat in your right mind, because many mothers don't even do that. They just take the kid with them wherever they're going, basically. Right. So props to you for at least thinking about your child in that moment, you know?
Yeah.
So
I think about them 24/7. Like I really do.
Yeah.
The first thing on my mind is them, and the last thing on my mind is them.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to do when you're a mom. Like they have to be your first priority all the time.
That's so
I'm sure
interesting
y'all know that y'all are great moms.
Yeah, I mean, we think so. Our kids might be like, or my kids.
Nah, most kids are like,
My kids are older. I have kids in their 20s, so it's a little bit different. But
you have kids in your 20s?
Yeah, I have a 22-year-old and an 18-year-old. I'm gonna be 46 this month.
She's looking.
Yeah.
Damn. Okay, skincare routine, please. Can we have a skincare vlog one day?
Dove soap. That's it. Dove soap. Dove soap. Yep.
There you go.
And you know, I don't know. I lost my train of thought on what exactly I was gonna say to you. But I know what I was gonna say. It's interesting that you say your kids should be the first thing on your mind and the last thing on your mind. Like, you sound so logical, okay? And I know that you're in therapy, but where did you learn that, since you didn't have good parents to kind of show you what good parenting was? How did you come up with that as a parent?
A lot of that I learned. My grandmother always told me, because her parents weren't great either. Her dad was abusive. He, you know, all that fun stuff. She was like, I always told myself I would never be like them. And she said that she would, you know, be the parent that she didn't have. And
Wow.
I resonated with that a lot. I was like, as soon as I found out I was pregnant, I was like, okay, I'm going to be the parents I didn't have. I don't care if I'm the only one. Like, I'm going to be the best parent I possibly can.
Yeah, that's amazing. So your grandmother raised you, I guess, in a sense, right?
Yeah, my mom was there, but my grandmother's kick
Was the
ass.
stability in your life.
Yeah, she was the stability. She was.
That's so cool. That's so cool.
She's great. She was a state representative in Tennessee for like 20 years. And before that, she was a council person. She was really my ends to politics and the world.
Yeah. So I know that this is kind of a weird thing to like harp on, but like I'm so interested in the moment that you decided, what am I doing here on OnlyFans? Take me through that day where you decided to quit OnlyFans, because it's interesting to me that you like had this upbringing, went to OnlyFans, but you said you swore to never to be better than your parents, right? So there was like a little glimmer of morality that was kind of like tugging at you, even though you had to do what you had to do, right? You got on OnlyFans because you did what you had to do. But take me through like the self-talk. You hated it.
I hated it. A huge part of it was just like, I hate this. I hate this. I don't want to do this. Like, it's literally the least, like, I'm not even that sexual of a person. It just wasn't, you know, all these OnlyFans girls are like, oh, like, this is so much fun. I'm having so much fun and I'm exploring my sexuality and whatnot. And like, I had so many people message me and be like, oh, let's collab. And I was like, what the hell? I was like, I don't want to, just because I'm doing this does not mean I want to hook up with random people, you know? Like, that's not something I did. It wasn't something, it's never been something that has interested me. It was disgusting, honestly. It was disgusting the way these people talked to me and disgusting the way that they didn't see me for all that I am, because I'm so much more than that, ultimately. And I knew that the whole time. And it was just one of those times where it was just like,
I have a question.
Yes.
There is an active stereotype against OnlyFans models. And I'm sure you hear all of us regurgitate the stereotype. Do you think most of these women fit the stereotype and the majority, and you're just the one-off that was just like, nah, this is not for me? If you had to say the environment on there, would you say they fit the stereotype of just being a degenerate? You just have no standards, you have no morals, you're willing to do anything,
or a whore
for the almighty dollar.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I'm the one-off. I think that was an act of desperation more so than degeneracy. It's not something that I really found fun. Not really something I really wanted to be a part of. Not really something that.
That's why I asked you, do you think the archetype of you being on OnlyFans is a minority? Because when I hear women talk about OnlyFans, I don't hear your perspective from the majority of them. Just
unless
my
they're
experience
lying.
in watching. Yeah. Unless all these women are lying and it's just like to keep the gimmick going, they don't talk like you.
It really could. Some of them could very well be lying and just being like, well, yeah, it's so great, so fun, woohoo. Like, because, you know, there's a lot of people that can't be honest like this. And that's, you know, it's something that I pride myself in being able to do, is like, be upfront, be honest, and be open, be vulnerable. That's a huge thing that, you know, I always tell people, like, thank you for letting me be vulnerable and thank you for being vulnerable with me, because it's really fucking hard. It's really hard. And, you know, admitting that that shit sucked, like, that shit sucked. And I would say it all the time. Like, I don't want to fucking do this. Like, every time I would log on to OnlyFans, I'd just sit there and be like, I don't want to fucking do this. Responding to messages. I think I told Nick, Suni, I told Nick, I was like, I don't want to respond to these people. Like, I hate the way they talk to me. That kind of stuff. It was just, ugh.
Yeah. Would you say, like, in order for you to get to a point, like, I mean, I know, again, you only did it for 2 months, but like, in order for you to get to a point to be able to just stomach the everyday uploading and the messaging with these people and engaging, that it was almost like reminiscent of, and I've never been in a situation like you have, like where you were sexually abused for so long. But I do know from talking to people who are sexually abused, they always say, like, in order to like live through that, survive through that, you almost have to go to another place in your mind and like remove a part of yourself to be
Yes.
able to
Yes.
like deal with
Dissociate.
it.
Yes.
Is that what you
a
did?
huge part of it is dissociation. Yes. That's how I handled my sexual abuse as a child. That's how I handled being sexually assaulted when I was 19. That's how I handled, like things I just don't want to do. If I find myself dissociating a lot during the terrible things, but then I'll also find myself dissociating like, I don't want to wash these dishes, but just staring off into space, dissociating while washing the dishes. But like, yeah, that kind of thing. It was just dissociation got me through it because
I think you're right when you say
can't
not
finish
many
that
people
thought.
will
Sorry,
come out
lost
and
it.
no, you're good. I think you're right when you say many people can't come out and admit this. Most people will get defensive and defend their actions instead of just being like, dude, it was gross. I really didn't want to do it, but this is the route I chose to do. I had kids to take care of, but it actually sucked. Versus what you see on mainstream where this type of lifestyle is promoted as something great. It's an awesome option for women to get into sex work. It's
easy money.
It's easy money.
No.
It's like you said before, it's sexually liberating, but in all actuality, it's doing more harm to you, not only emotionally, mentally, and physically, because you start to value yourself less and less, and you become a product. You become a product. You're no longer even a person. Like, these people don't care about you as a person. So if former OnlyFans models were like you and they just came out and told women the truth, I think the world would have far more respect for this group of women. Like, you don't have to be me. You don't have to be traditional. But as long as you're coming out and you're telling the truth, bro, and you're just keeping it a stack, anybody can respect that.
Yeah.
Anybody can respect that.
Yeah.
But most people won't come out and do this.
Yeah. It's the girls that are like,
I mean,
they flaunt it, and like Suni said, they make it seem like this is such a desirable option, especially to young girls, right? Who think, oh my gosh, like I could be with the Gucci bags like Bad Baby, who got basically rich off of OnlyFans because it wasn't her rap career. She got rich off of OnlyFans. She has a house, she has cars, she has all this stuff, and that looks so desirable, but at what cost? At what cost to her soul, right? I'm sorry, you were going to say something. What were you going to say? What were you going to say before I interrupted you?
I totally forgot. Totally forgot what I was going to say.
What?
Sorry.
No, you're fine. What are your thoughts about men in general, considering your experience with men leading from your childhood to now? What are your thoughts on men?
I mean, they're good and bad everywhere. Like, I've had more run-in with shitty men just, out of not being able to fucking pick them. Not having that example of a good man to look for. Not growing up in a place where a majority of us had no dad. We were poor. A lot of us didn't have fathers. A lot of the boys around me grew up just not being taught right from wrong, and they grew up to be shitty people. So there are shitty men, such as men who have wronged me, and there are good men out there, and there are good people who do shitty things, and there are shitty people who do good things. So it's just a matter of finding the ones that aren't as bad.
Do you believe in God? Do you have any spiritual?
I believe in God. I think religion, it's not my cup of tea. I haven't fully explored it, I was raised in a Methodist church, basically. My grandmother would take me to that kind of thing. Let me think. How do I phrase this? I think there is a God, but I don't think he's as judgmental as people think. If it's
okay.
even than he, you know?
Ah, okay, gotcha. So let's just say you believed in God,
Hmm.
and God said to you, Bailey, you have one chance to tell me everything you want in a man, the future husband, father of your children, life partner. But you have to tell me your top 5 things. If you had to choose 5 things, what would those 5 things be for your ideal man that you would love to have?
Someone that actually wants to provide, you know, because that's something that not a lot of people want to do. Someone that's accepting of my children, because I know that's a lot to ask of a person. Someone who's, I don't want to say forgiving, because I don't need forgiveness from anyone else for my past, but someone who understands where I've been and what I've done and the reasoning behind it and can accept that. What is that, 3? I don't know.
You know what? Hey, I said 5, but keep going. Whatever you love. What are the okay, let me make it easier for you. What, not the physical attributes. What are the inner attributes of that man?
Kind-hearted, someone that's not just a dick for no reason. You know, I don't want someone that's going to go kick a kitten. Someone who's funny, because I'm hilarious personally. I make myself laugh, and that's all that matters. Kind, funny, of course, you know, accepting. Let's think. I don't really know. Someone who's respectful. Like, I don't want somebody that's just like, hey, bitch, go make dinner. Like,
Would you say that those are the same things that you would have wanted in your dad? Or did you want more from your dad?
I wanted more from my dad. I wanted him to be there for me. And ultimately, that is what I want in a man. I want someone who's there for me and that comforts me. And, you know, when I come home and I'm like, oh my God, I just had like the worst day of my life, because in my job, I see awful shit. I mean, on a daily basis, I want to come home and be able to just like be
support. You want support.
Be supported. I want support. Like, that's it.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that that's it, you said. It's interesting to me that what you said you wanted in your dad is totally different from what you want from men. When I think if you would have had what you wanted from your dad, you would have in turn looked for a man with those same qualities. That's always been my philosophy. I think when I think about how girls or women look at other men, if they have a good example of a man, or even if they don't, right? Like if they're able to think, okay, my dad wasn't this, but I wish he was this, and that's the type of man I'm going to go for. You know, it's something to think about, right? Like I don't think you want to be alone the rest of your life. I think eventually you would love to like share your life with somebody. But it's something to think about. Like it's something that you should really sit and think, like, the things that I wish my dad would have been are great qualities to also have in a partner, you know, because as a husband, you have to be like you said, you were the traditional, or you wanted to be the traditional wife, right? The cook, do your traditional womanly roles, which I think is great. And in turn, you should want a man who is going to fulfill his traditional roles as a man and as a husband, like being a provider, a protector, a supporter, a leader. Yes. A leader's huge, right?
Yes.
Yeah. But you were giving a lot of slack to the to the dream man. funny.
Yeah, I was funny.
Doesn't
kind
kick
of
kittens.
cute. Doesn't kill me. Doesn't abuse
Yeah.
me. Doesn't
Yeah.
that kind of thing. Hee hee. You know.
Yeah. But I mean, when you think about it, like, yeah, those are great things, but like you're not asking for much with those things.
No,
And
I'm not.
I know in
It's
your
just-
mind it seems very simple, but you're not really asking for much with those, you know, be funny, be kind, be good looking, don't kick kittens. He could still not be
Don't
a
kick
protector. He could still not be a leader, you know, not be a supporter. So I would say this. I know you don't believe in God, or you're not sure yet what you believe, but
Mhm.
I always think your thoughts are your prayers, right? Like, I'm not one of these people that, you know, thinks you have to put your head down and put your hands together. I think that God is always hearing your thoughts, right? So clean up those thoughts. And pretend God is listening, right? So just constantly, like I remember we told this to Bella, like constantly be putting out by your thoughts, not saying, hey, dear God, I want this, but just be like, gosh, I wish I had this. I wish I had that. You know, if I could just sit here and daydream for a second, what I wish my life could be, what I wish my future partner could be, what I wish I could be, and just dream, like, you know, just dream a little. I think that would be so good for you. Because I think you probably have had so much on your life that you haven't given yourself any of that, you know, the grace
That's
to
true.
do that.
That's very true. And this reminds me a lot, what you just said reminded me a lot of my therapist, and something she repeats to me all the time because I just don't follow through with it is like, she's always like, it's okay to set expectations. Like, hold people to those expectations. It's something that I personally am not good at doing. Boundaries and expectations. I just recently learned what a boundary is and how to set one. I'm 24 years old.
Wow.
I could not tell you what a boundary was. I couldn't tell you any of that.
Sean would like us to ask you if a man should leave the house. Yes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
You think so?
I think so. Yeah. In my opinion, I don't know if anybody else thinks that, but yeah.
And
I don't want to leave the fucking house. I don't want to do it.
Right. Because I mean, you're doing it now, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do this. This is not fun.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. It isn't fun, right? And that's the great thing about finding a guy that can do all that is you get to go and do the stuff that comes naturally to you, like the cleaning and the cooking and the taking care of the children and the having the babies and all this other stuff. That's what we're built for, you know? That's amazing.
Exactly. No, I agree with that.
Angel Eye says, I'm totally done with all men. I don't want a relationship with anyone in a marriage. No man has shown me that I am worthy of them. They all have made me feel like I was being used because they always cheated on me. Wow. That's rough.
I think she should be y'all's next guest.
You know, I think she was in the comment section last time. She's not the one that said she had sex on the side of the road, was she?
Oh my God.
Was that her?
I don't know. I
Angel.
checked out of that conversation. I couldn't tell you.
That conversation that we had last time.
Yeah, I checked out.
Yeah. Olivia says a lot of men don't want to be all that these days. I totally disagree, Olivia. I think men have given up wanting to be, but I don't think it's that they don't want to be. I think what they're running up against is a lot of women who want to be the leader, who want to be the provider, who want to be the shot caller. And so they're just like, okay, you know, you disagree? What do you think? Let's ask our guest, Bailey. What do you think?
I think those are both, what the hell? Those are both very interesting takes. Just based off of what you said about them running into women who want to be in charge of things or women who, let me just not pay attention to the chat.
You saw that Angel is the one who had sex on the side of the road.
All right. It was interesting that you said they come across women like that who want to be in charge, and that probably does have a lot to do with it. just the fact that, you know, it's not 1950 and the housewives aren't meek.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, I'm not a quiet, you know, gonna stand here and Stepford wife it out. Like, I'm a loudmouth when I need to be. When I want to get my point across, I'm loud and aggressive, and mainly in the political world, not necessarily like my romantic relationships, but
Mm-hmm.
politically, I'm aggressive with my stances.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like there are women like that who are just like that every day in every single aspect. And that can definitely drive a man to be like, you can take charge. You can take charge. But Suni, I'd love to hear your take on it.
Look at her.
Sure.
She-
Sure.
Go ahead.
Yes.
I think we need to stop living in a world that doesn't exist anymore. Men are weaker. They are. Men can barely tolerate life at this point. And maybe my experiences is a skewed one. And I'm okay with admitting that. But when I listen to men complain about women that they're choosing on a regular basis, that's obviously a very emotional issue that you have, because real men don't sit and complain on the internet about women that they choose. Like, they're choosing these women and they're complaining about the results that they're getting. Men are far more emotional. Men don't want to lead. I've heard plenty of dudes say, nah, we could do a 50-50. And I'm talking about this modern day man. And the older men are starting to become like the younger men, just like the older women are starting to become like the younger generation. I'm not saying that men like you're describing don't exist, but I think we need to understand and call out the massive boatloads of children that were solely raised by their mothers and did not have a father figure. Because we talk about fatherlessness on a regular basis. You cannot be a man if you didn't have a man to teach you to do that. You can't. And the majority of men that are coming up were raised by women. So how can you lead anything when you barely understand how to be a man and you didn't have someone around to teach you that? How?
See, I think the majority of men and women are being raised by the internet. Okay. P and I, and Bailey, I don't mean to get off of your interview right now, but this is a great topic. You know, P and I were talking today about this very thing, right? Because I often say, man, I do what I do because my mom or because my dad or because my grandmother. And you rarely hear people say that today. Okay. When P was referencing some street interview where somebody asked this girl, so what are you looking for in a guy? And she says, well, he needs to have a big dick. You know, it needs to be 6 inches. And it's like, the follow-up question would have been like, who did you learn that from? Because it wasn't your grandmother. Because I sure know your grandmother wasn't like, well, golly, if your grandfather didn't have a big dick, it would have been, you know what I mean? Like, that just wasn't the case. And I think nowadays people are being raised and taught by the internet on what they should be. Okay. Women are looking to these trashy women on the internet on how they should be as a woman. They should be a shot caller. They should brag about the fact that they pay their bills and they don't need a man and this, that, and the other. And men, okay, are being told, you know, you got to be this type of person. You got to be this alpha male. You got to be this whatever. And there's no sense of reality there. There's always this like imperfect picture that everybody likes to paint for you on the internet that isn't real. It's not reality. I don't know.
I
Don't even
agree
get me
with that.
started.
Honestly, I do agree with that.
Hey, when you have my family was raised by nothing but women. It's not the internet. It's real life.
But I'm
There
saying
are men
that
out here that do not operate in the capacity that a man should, and they're not in minority numbers.
But that's your experience. I'm saying in general, there are men out there that I could say were raised by majority women and are manly men. And there's people just like in her situation, that there's people that didn't have fathers that have a great, you know, they had a great outcome. It doesn't apply to everybody just because that was your situation. I'm just saying in general, I think that men in general and women in general are all trying to fit this mold that I only see on the internet. with the Kevin Samuels and the what do they call it? The Passport Bros, and who's the other group of people that like they, you know, these little men congregation podcasts where they have a lot of OnlyFans type chicks on there not giving great advice.
That's very true. There's not a lot of great influences on uncontrolled internet.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so you are now a working woman outside of OnlyFans. You have a 9 to 5 job. You go to work every day.
I still work from home, just in a different way.
Oh, okay. So you work from home and you work for the Tennessee Advocates for Planned Parenthood. So we all know what a Planned Parenthood is, but what is it specifically that you do with this organization?
So I don't directly work for Planned Parenthood. It's more of an advocate group that I work for that gets out and actually goes and stands up for what they believe in, which, you know, no matter your view, somebody that can get up and get out and go stand up for themselves and stand up for people that they think deserve to be stood up for is, you know, it's commendable. I'm sorry.
What did that say?
Get a little bit thrown off.
That was my fault.
All men with internet platforms are homosexuals. I never listened to them. Okay.
Okay. But no, I work for TAB. They're basically just activists, and they're funded through donations, I believe is what I would have to double check that. But they came to me. I did not apply for that job through they came to me through my activism. Because in Tennessee, there's, I don't know how widespread the news was about what happened this year in Tennessee, but it was a whirlwind.
About what? About?
Politically, there was a shooting in Nashville, which was, you know, that's where I grew up, the Covenant Church shooting. It, no matter how big Nashville gets, it's always felt very close-knit. And when that happened, it rocked us because we've never had anything like that happen. You know, I saw the little boy, his name was Will. He looked so much like my oldest son. It was heartbreaking. I was in New Orleans for my birthday when it happened, and we turned on the news, and, you know, the anchor was crying, and he said it's been said that all 3 children have passed. Like, you know, you have 9-year-olds being gunned down in our city. We were outraged. We wanted, you know, we wanted to know why it happened. We wanted to know how it happened, all kinds of stuff. There were a lot of gun control advocates, sorry. A lot of people who wanted red flag laws. A lot of pissed off moms that were like, you know, Tennessee has incredibly lax gun laws, basically. Like, that's just a known fact. And people were pissed off, and we had 3 of our representatives who had joined a protest with students that were protesting the inaction of the General Assembly. The representatives joined into the protest. It was Representative Justin Jones, Representative Justin Pearson, and Representative Gloria Johnson. And, you know, that's unheard of. These representatives joining the people that, you know, they represent, it's commendable in and of itself. You know, these are the people you're supposed to be representing. So they were expelled. Well, the two Justins were expelled. Gloria Johnson kept her seat, and it basically turned Tennessee politics on its head because we had never seen anything like that. You know, we'd never seen kids that pissed off begging for their lives. We'd never seen I've never seen a representative publicly expelled like that unless it was for there was one that was expelled for, I think, sexual assault a while back, but it was
Wait, I'm confused. You said you've never seen kids that upset begging for their lives. What do you mean by
they went
that?
up there. They went up there after the Covenant shooting, and they demanded action to be taken. They wanted red flag laws. They wanted the General Assembly to do something, anything. They wanted some sort of. And I mean, I'm a gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
Do I think that people should be able to go buy a gun in a Target parking lot with no background check? I don't really think so. And like, crucify me if you will. I just don't think that that's responsible. I feel like background checks are important to be a gun owner.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids were pissed, and I've never seen anything like that. I've never seen young people that upset and that involved politically. And, it really, I've been involved in politics my whole life. Like I said, my grandmother was a state representative. It just brought it back for me because I took a long break after she left the state house. Seeing those kids get fired up about stuff like that, I was like, it's such a positive thing to stand up for what you believe in.
Mm-hmm.
And I did that in my own situation. I was asked to do a press conference by Representative Gloria Johnson because they have her and Senator Charlene Oliver had a bill about keeping our right to obtain birth control, like IUDs and morning after pills, emergency contraception, that kind of thing. Nothing about abortion, just, making sure we had that right. Because there was leaked audio that some members of the General Assembly were going to push to have IVF, like a stricter grasp on that. And I think what they said, and I'd have to double check, don't quote me on it, they were going for IUDs and the morning after pill because they thought it was an abortion pill.
Mm-hmm.
So the bill was presented to just make sure we had our IUD rights. And I did this press conference because I felt like these children who had gone and used their voices, I felt hopeful. I felt like people were actually hearing the Tennesseans that were speaking out for what they thought was right.
Mm-hmm.
And so I decided to do that myself. And I got to tell my story of how my IUD saved me from having the baby of a rapist, and how that made an impact on my life. It was a huge deal for me. I had to share a lot that day. It was a very vulnerable time. Suni saw the video.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you mind if we play the clip?
Oh, yeah, sure. I'd love that.
Awesome.
State lawmakers announced Tennessee's Contraceptive Freedom Act this afternoon. Senator Charlene Oliver and Representative Gloria Johnson are behind that bill. The Contraceptive Freedom Act seeks to protect and preserve the right to contraception, like condoms, pills, and IUDs. Bailey Jones, a proud mother of two, shares why these rights are so important to her. This is just a warning. If you've got children in the room or if you have experienced sexual assault, that is what she's going to be talking about here.
A man who was and is a stranger, aside from being in my nightmares. He almost murdered me, trying to keep me quiet. That was 5 years ago. Throughout the process of being in the hospital, having an intrusive rape kit done, talking to the police, one question kept coming up and lingering in my mind. Could you be pregnant? The question of the hour. Not, are you okay? Do you need a hug? How dare he? Could you be pregnant? I thank God every day that the answer was no. I was not pregnant. Thank you, God. And thank you to my Mirena IUD that I had inserted 6 weeks after my first son. I thank God every single day for that little piece of metal in my uterus. Because of that IUD, I did not have to carry the child of a rapist to term.
Now, lawmakers will file the legislation in the 2024 session. They hope it protects the rights they say that Bailey had.
Wow. How long ago was that?
I believe that was last month.
Oh, wow.
When I did that press conference. The sexual assault was in 2018.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting because, you know, when we talk about like the abortion topic on this show, I mean, I would say I'm like all the way pro-life, but the one thing that always gets me is what if a young girl, like a young girl, like 12, 8, 15, whatever, you know, that's a baby, right?
Yeah.
Gets sexually assaulted or raped or whatever, and has to carry a pregnancy. Like, a pregnancy is hard enough when you're excited to be pregnant and you're dying to be pregnant. Like, it's hard enough to be pregnant, right? I just can't, like, the thought of a baby, carrying a baby, right, is so hard for me. And in those instances, that's where I struggle with the abortion thing sometimes. And I'll be honest with you. I know people are going to like come for me in the comments and be like, abortion is murder. And I get that. Yes, I'm totally 1,000% pro-life. Now, my daughter has the IUD in her arm. And, you know, of course, as a mom, I'm like, hey, a great way to not get pregnant is to not have sex. Like, that would be a surefire way, right? But in your instance, let's just say you were a virgin and you get sexually assaulted. And then what? You know, so like, in that sense, I want to say, like, I'm pro-choice for women to say, if I want to have birth control, if I want to have an IUD, that you should be able to do that. Do I think it's great for your body to pump it full of hormones? Absolutely not. I don't. But it's better than bringing a child into this world into a bad situation, or, you know, God forbid, a health situation or whatever. But it's a struggle for me. I'm just, you know, I'm always honest about it, and I take a lot of heat for having that outlook.
I completely understand that. I mean, personally, I'm pro-life for myself. I would not have an abortion. I can't tell another woman what to do with her body. Simple as that. That's why I'm pro-choice. And I know people are not going to like that, but I am. The biggest thing for me personally in the abortion thing is that Tennessee does not have an exception in our abortion ban for cases of rape or incest. So if little 12-year-old girl who just got her period gets raped by grandpa and she gets pregnant, you know, you're carrying this baby. And like, it's unfair. It's unfair to people who haven't even, it's insane to me. It's just, I don't think that's something. How are you supposed to love your baby when it comes out of a situation like that? How? Like, it's just a reminder of terrible, terrible things, stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can make that argument, but it can all, you know, as a mother, you know, your baby comes out, it doesn't matter what the situation is, you're just like instantly in love. Or even in my case, I mean, I had an abortion. And like, I remember, like, when I, you know, saw my first ultrasound, I was just like instantly attached to this human that was growing inside me instantly. And then, you know, as I had more children, I couldn't help but think of the baby that I aborted, the pregnancy that I miscarried. Like, I started to think, like, would those kids look like it was crazy. It was crazy that, you know, to have to go through that. I hear people out when they say this. And even when people say, like, are the majority of people using abortion for birth control? I mean, Suni is our stat queen, so she would be able to answer that. I would say there's a lot of women that are doing that. Unfortunately, they are using abortion as birth control. They know they can go get an abortion, and so they just like take no care in it. That
is going to fuck your body up really badly if you get pregnant 3 times a year and go have an abortion, like that's not good. That's going to be really, really rough on you. I definitely don't think abortion should be used that way. I think there should be more access to preventative measures, such as IUDs, you know, birth control, stuff like that. I think we should have every single right to use what we have birth control wise to prevent that. Like abortion, it's a shitty situation 99% of the time from from what I know. I've never met anybody that's like, oh, well, I'm out here fucking, like, let me go have like 4 or 5 abortions a year. 1, that's expensive. 2, it's a long drive from Tennessee, especially. Like it's gonna tear your body up. That's just
it's traumatizing. It's traumatizing.
Yeah.
It is traumatizing. And it's not like you just go in there with blinders and they just like, you know, zip the baby out. It's painful. You see in some cases what's going on, you know, afterwards. There's all kinds of stuff that you have to deal with because there's tissue and all this other stuff. It's very, very traumatizing. It's nothing to be like, it boggles me that there's women out there that actually take it lightly, that they just like do it without a care in the world. Do you guys have, and Sudi, I'm sorry, you had something to say, did you?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Did you have something to say? I saw that you were going to talk. I didn't know if I
don't remember. I don't remember what my point was.
What you got up here? Some facts?
This is just a 2013 study, and it's been updated several times since then, that talks about the reasons women are getting abortions. I think my question was, actually, this is my question for you. I'm not used to calling you Bailey. Here's my question for you.
You can call me Bailey.
I get the emotional plea of this should be available for people who go through a situation that's completely out of their control, right? But
yes,
that's not the majority of the people who are getting it. Do you think if people were just honest with why they wanted it, which is for cases of rape and incest, maybe the world's not the world? Well, yeah, because most people are opposed to abortion. Do you think people's opinion would change? Because right here it says around 40% of the people in the study mentioned financial reasons for needing an abortion. That doesn't sound like a sexual assault, or you've been put in a very traumatic situation. Or another thing they like to bring up is like life-threatening cases for the mother. Around 4% say unemployment was contributing to their decision. 36% says timing. 31% the partner-related reasons for getting these abortions. What do you say to that when someone counters what you're saying, right? And you come with this emotional side of it and they bring you the facts. How do you counter that to still push forth your message?
Ultimately, my argument is just, I know what's best for myself. And that's the only situation I've ever been in and the only situation I'll ever know. And that's all I can say is that I can choose what's best for me. And I told y'all, for myself, I wouldn't do it. Actions have consequences for me, and I own my shit, and we all know that. But other people, like, I can't tell anybody what to do, and I don't think that.
Keep talking. Well, we'll get to the comment in a second. She's like,
it throws me off. I can't tell anybody else what to do. I really can't, because you don't know what situation they're in. You don't know. Personally, I think that the government should not have as much pull over people's lives. And I know people are like, well, what about the baby? It just doesn't. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. And a lot of times I have one personal experience. Like I said, that's all I can really give in times like this, is because it's what I have experienced. My family was asked to take in a little boy at 3 months old. I consider him my brother. He was born addicted to heroin. His mom didn't know who his dad was. She never stopped using while she was pregnant with him. She had previous children, didn't have custody of any of them. We were called because she was shooting up with him in the bed right next to her. And he had been left in his bouncer for so long that the back of his head was like this. Yeah, he had to wear a helmet. It still didn't correct it. So it was a situation where I was like, you know, this is just so fucked up. Like, you choose to have him, you choose to neglect him, like, and then continue to treat him like shit. Like, he was left to scream and cry. The neighbors called the police because he was screaming all the time because no one was feeding him. That kind of thing. And it was just like, at what point are you like, okay, this is just a child suffering? And I think of kids like Gabriel Fernandez and that kind of thing. Adrian Jones. I don't know if y'all know of that case. That one was one of the worst ones I've ever had. I would rather ultimately a fetus be aborted where there's not, you know, at what point do they feel pain? At what point do they, you know, that kind of thing. I'd rather people be allowed to have abortions than people go on to like hurt, abuse, neglect, murder their children, like alive, breathing 8-year-olds like Adrian Jones. And that's why I have the opinion that I do, is because I've dealt with a lot of neglected children. I was kind of a neglected child.
Right.
They're just, at what point do you have to say, like, how can we negate this suffering? Like, I don't want to say the lesser of two evils, because I don't really want to call anybody evil in that situation, because I'm sorry. Yeah, that's basically it. Like, I just have to pick, like, if there's someone that's like, I fucking hate kids and like, I literally never want a kid. Like, I don't want a fucking kid because I'd be a terrible parent. Like, all the power to you, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's what makes this argument such a difficult one with people. And I mean, like, going into politics, like, this is why it's a difficult argument with politics. And somebody brought it up in the chat because you said, you know, like, we can't tell people what to do with their bodies. This is a choice for me. And Jacqueline said, like, telling people, you know, whether they can own a gun or not, right? And that's a sensitive subject with people, especially after the whole Covenant school shooting, even though we found out, you know, with almost all these shootings, in fact, I think 100% of these shootings, that it was very much so mental health related. Yes, you know, a gun in the wrong hands can hurt people, right? But at the same time, people who want to hurt people don't give a damn about laws. And there are people who go years and could pass a background check and will get a gun, and they'll do their first killing, you know, whenever they do their first killing, you know. So I think statistically it has been proven, and they talked about this in yesterday's debate that we covered. Statistically, it's been proven that when it comes to guns, laws don't do anything. You know, you look at Australia where guns are banned, right? Their murder rates are higher than ever, right? So anyways, I didn't mean to get off on the gun tangent. Suni's got a
no, that's okay.
Statistic up here.
No,
That's okay. But I do want to say,
go ahead.
I don't think we should take away everybody's guns. Like, I own a gun. I think responsible gun owners I believe in the Second Amendment. Yes. Hold on. I don't have my glasses on, and I cannot read that, even on full screen.
Oh, she'll read it to us. Don't worry about it. She'll read it to us.
No, I'm only giving pushback because I want you to be successful in your efforts of solely talking about this from a contraceptive level. That's how you'll
Yes.
win over
And that's
independents.
kinda
That's how you'll win over conservatives, some conservatives. That's how you'll win over moderates. But the emotionally charged discussions, not that this number isn't alarming, right? Because
Yeah.
one child is too many, but this is what it is
Yes.
per year. I would much rather have the abundance of children born than dead, just because of a small percentage of parents that are not emotionally inept or mature to step up and do the job. And either way, whether we kept abortion or we got rid of it, who's to say that these people who are harming their children would even participate in abortion at all? They might still have these children regardless of whether these options or avenues are open. So I wanted to bring this up because this is how they manipulate people. They bring in the emotionally charged extreme stories, but then they don't tell you, well, it's 1,000-something kids per year. That's why I brought up, let's talk about the reasons, right? When I went into 40% of these people are just getting abortions because it's an inconvenience. It's not because I'm sick. I can't actually have this child. I was essayed. I can't emotionally have this child. We don't talk about those instances. If we did, I think this conversation, number one, would add far more nuance. It would be an honest discussion, and there would be no way to narrative build around it. But because we don't talk about the truth, and we fill everything with emotions, you're going to get people like me that are just like, look, it's murder. I don't got nothing else to talk to you about. Plan B, I'm 1000% okay with Plan B. Implants, I'm 1001% okay with people taking contraceptives. That is your choice. But I will never support sanctioned murder. Never.
Yeah. And Suni brings up a good point, right? Like, if you look at it from a political standpoint, especially like yesterday as an example, they use the most like egregious examples like neglect, right? Or rape and things like that to really tug at people's emotions. And I think you can still have great success in like what you're doing with your advocacy in speaking about the facts, like Suni pointed out, because they're still very valid facts and they still support all the things that you personally want to advocate for. But you're not doing it from a standpoint of, well, I'm going to hit you with all the shock factors of, you know, like, don't go on a cruise because you could drown like the Titanic, you know, like, you know, that type of stuff.
This is typically, I don't bring up the abortion thing. I'm a staunch advocate for like, I'm rallying for contraception, like preventative measures. I don't typically get into the abortion thing. It's not I just can't do it because I can't. Like, it's not, I wouldn't have an abortion, you know? And it's really hard for me to talk about like, you know, oh, murdering babies. Like I had a miscarriage that was late into my pregnancy, the only daughter, you know, heartbreaking. And it's just a really hard conversation for me to have. So I advocate where I can in preventing that kind of thing. And and I just think that accessibility and the option being there is the most important thing of like contraception, that kind of thing. I think that's most important. Preventing, because abortion should be a last resort, if anything, you know, and all the power to the women that decide to keep those babies, because that's hard as hell too.
One of the bills
my advocacy, oops, I'm so sorry. My advocacy is more so in sexual assault and contraception, that kind of thing. And of course, you know, children that are being abused, that kind of thing. Like that's my area of expertise.
So like I'm looking at the Fundamental Right to Reproductive Health Care Act, which they have up on your on the Tennessee Advocates for Planned Parenthood website. It's Bill HB 0829 and SB 0762. It states, this bill states that every person has the fundamental right to make decisions about the person's reproductive health care, including the fundamental right to use or refuse contraceptive procedures or contraceptive supplies, and to continue a pregnancy and give birth, or to have an abortion. So they're kind of like looping in abortion is women's reproductive health. How do you feel about that, considering you personally don't agree with the whole abortion thing? Like, they're looping it in with something that I feel is very logical, which is contraceptive. I almost feel like it should be a separate
Right.
bill, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's based on that wording alone, that's not going to pass.
Oh, it didn't. It failed.
And oh, wait, that's not okay, that's a different bill then. Okay, hold
Here,
on.
I'll
Because we've
I'll
had
pull it up
that
here.
was by Ramesh Akbari, right?
Karen Camper in London Lamar.
That's the senator. Is that the senator or
That's
the
who's-
representative? Okay,
That-
this bill tries to pass every year.
Topic. Fundamental right to reproductive care. Yeah.
Mhm.
I can't look at it in Japan. They actually blocked Japanese people from looking at these bills.
But I mean, your organization, Planned Parenthood, supports this bill. They say we support this bill because all Tennesseans deserve the access to full spectrum of reproductive care, including abortion.
Yes.
Well, I mean, that goes to her point of
I mean,
I don't agree with it, but I don't want to take this right away from women.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe if they took abortion out the bill, it might actually pass. Yeah,
Well,
I think if they took
and that's
abortion
what-
out,
that's
it
what
would
I'm-
pass.
That's what I'm saying is like it's almost like they're tricky with it, right? Because they want, I think they're more, well, I say they, but they want this abortion thing to pass. So they're going to loop it in with something that's like everybody is, I think, should be for contraception, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yes,
It's the way
I mean,
you
unless you're
prevent
Mormon.
babies.
Unless you're Mormon.
So that's actually a bill from, I don't even think this was the past legislative session. The bill that I did the press conference in support of was just contraception, did not mention abortion as far as I know.
What bill is it? You know,
I can look that up. Give me 1 second.
No.
Is it the Protect the Right to Birth Control? Is that it right there? This bill
That's
states that the
Ramesh
term
Akbari.
abortion.
No.
Ramesh
See, this is,
Akbari.
wait a minute. Protect the right to birth control. And it says this bill states that the term abortion, as defined for the offense of criminal abortion, does not include the use of contraceptives, okay, including hormone birth control. So they're saying contraception is not abortion. Is that what that's saying?
Yes, because people in Tennessee, if you're found that you've had an abortion past whatever their limit is, I think it's like 6 weeks, is a person that could be arrested. And they were considering IUD. They didn't even have any. I don't know. I couldn't tell you the exact wording, but there was something about IUDs and Plan Bs. Hold on. I'm going to find y'all.
This is interesting. So it says this bill,
Is
so this
coming
is the
up
exception.
because it hasn't gone to the floor yet.
There's all these different bills, like this bill, exceptions and false reporting sentencing. This bill provides exceptions to the offense of criminal abortion in cases where the pregnancy was the result of rape or incest. It would require the physician performing the abortion to confirm that the patient had reported the offense to law enforcement and received a rape kit. I think that's great.
I don't, because
I think that should exactly be
kids
what happened.
don't report. When kids are going through stuff like that, they don't tell because it's scary. So
That's true. Or
I
they were coerced
think
into
that's
not
wise.
telling.
And how do you prove it
Mhm.
unless you have damage?
So
And
let
a minimum
me
of that. I
let
think
me
there should be,
tell
if
y'all-
there was an age limit on it, sure. But to me, this is too vague.
let me tell y'all about when I was sexually assaulted and my experience with rape kits, because that's another point I really want to touch on. That's another part
Yeah.
of my activism. Especially with that bill. I mean, what if, because my rape kit, personally, I was raped in July of 2018. I had a rape kit done within 12 hours. It's not a fun process. I'm sure everyone knows that. My rape kit sat untouched, untested for 3 years.
What?
3 years, yes. And within that time frame, from the time I was sexually assaulted to the 3-year mark, a year after my sexual assault, the man that sexually assaulted me shot someone in the face with a shotgun. If the police would have done their fucking job, that wouldn't have happened.
Why did it sit so long? Why what was the holdup? Like,
there's a backlog. I'm not sure. There's a backlog. It's an insane number. And here's the thing. Here's the kicker. There's a whole website. It's called inthebacklog.org. Tennessee's number was outrageous. It was insane. So what they did instead of fixing it was take all of these rape kits from the whole state of Tennessee. We're going to the TBI lab.
mm-hmm.
There are 3, one in Memphis, one in Nashville, and one near Knoxville. So instead of Metro Nashville Police Department, getting their shit together, instead of TBI getting their shit together, Metro decided, well, we're going to take all these rape kits that we get, we're going to keep them. And we're going to have our own lab that has no accountability. No one knows the conditions of any of this. No one knows the conditions of where the rape kits sit right now. We don't know. I was told that the DNA in my rape kit degraded so badly that they couldn't even tell anything aside male.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah. So it's just a little open-ended, which it shouldn't be. Another part of that is that I'm not the only one. There's a woman named Eliza Fletcher who was a preschool teacher in Memphis who was abducted, raped violently, and then murdered. The man that abducted, raped, and murdered her was already committing crimes. He had already raped a woman. She reported. Her rape kit was sitting in the same place mine was.
Wow. Like, do you have like some
And
type
if
of
the police
tracking
had done
system?
their-
How do you?
Nope. They said that they made one and it has not come to fruition.
Do you
there's
think that?
It's just ridiculous.
Do you think that I mean, somebody said in here about defunding the police, but I really feel like, and just because Suni and I have covered quite a few stories on this particular topic, but a lot of women tend to accuse men of rape, which, and it's sad for real situations of rape, right? Or sexual assault. A lot of women tend to accuse men of rape, and it's false. And I'm sure there is some type of metric on that, or, Suni can probably pull it up. She's like, again, the queen of this. But there's got to be some type of metric on how many, rape allegations turn out to be false. I've covered a few stories. Most recently, there was a football player at SDSU. Him and a few of his fellow teammates were accused of sexually assaulting a girl. She had a whole story on what happened. It was at a party, according to her. Everybody saw it. And, months later, we find out she made the whole thing up. Yeah. And that's not an uncommon story. If you start to actually search for these types of things and you start to see how many people or how many men have been sitting in jail and then, years later exonerated because the woman said, oh, well, I just didn't want to, my boyfriend to find out that I actually cheated on him. It wasn't really a rape, It's sad that type of stuff happens.
It's infuriating because it takes away the legitimacy from the women, from the victims. It takes away the way people look at me. They're like, I've had so many people that are very supportive, and I appreciate every second of that, of course. But, it makes people be like, she could be lying. And people that do that know what they're doing. They're very calculated. They're trying to ruin lives, but they don't realize that they're also fucking with the lives of people who are already traumatized, whose lives have already been fucked with. You take away from us and we've already been taken from. So just don't fucking do that. Like, they don't realize the impact that their actions have when they do accuse people falsely. That makes me so mad. Every time it gets brought up, like my eye twitches a little bit. I'm like, I want to kill.
What is this? You got false reports. See, I knew she would pull it up. Okay. What can
This is a
confidently
study from 2017. This is from the FBI for people that are going to do this. they're gonna question these things. This is from the FBI. You can click the little hyperlink here. But according to the data from the FBI over a 5-year period, approximately 5% of allegations of rape were deemed false or baseless during that time period. But one thing that should be very much so highlighted is most people do not report anything.
I have a stat. 63% are never reported.
Yes.
That's a lot.
So
It's
that many
so
people aren't
sad.
reporting. And then you have 5% of the people that do report. 5% are lying.
It just takes away from the legitimacy of survivors of
For
sexual assault. And it's enraging, truly. It makes me really angry. Also, the people that don't report their sexual assault, I fucking get it. If anybody gets it, I get it. Just being re-traumatized by the police and the police departments.
Yeah.
It's just bullshit. Like, the amount of times I've told my story to a police officer, ripped open those wounds again, because every time you tell your story, you feel that same feeling in the pit of your stomach. I feel it every time. It's just, I can completely understand why people don't report it if none of us ever get justice. Like, there are statistics on, I can't remember the exact one, but RAINN, RAINN, has tons of statistics on it. And the amount of rapists that get convicted, if they are reported and they are found to have done it, it's just minuscule. It seems like such a waste of time, because none of us, every single survivor of sexual assault I've ever talked to, and I've talked to a lot of them after that press conference, none of us have ever received the proper justice. There are so many rapists walking freely with no consequences. And if you look at the number of backlogged rape kits, every single one of those rape kits is a potential rapist. There are probably several serial rapists. And it's like no one is taking that seriously. And it's awful. It hurts me at a personal level, but it hurts all of us because no one is safe knowing all of this.
That's definitely true. It even goes as far as CP. They get months and a registry. They shouldn't be allowed back on the street. They shouldn't be allowed to function in normal society. I do think the justice system is very much so broken there. I don't think anybody will deny that. If they do, then you're just not a part of reality. This is not a indictment on all men. This is an indictment on a system that's failing. It's failing.
And it's not just men. It's not just men.
It's women too, for sure.
Women who are sexually assaulted.
Absolutely.
It's sick. But I would like to say that to address this huge problem, especially in Tennessee, I've started through my own advocacy, starting with that press conference with Representative Johnson. We're doing a media campaign with other survivors who want to tell their stories, just to show that, like, this is a common occurrence. Every time I tell my story, I have at least 15 other women come to me and say, hey, this has happened to me too. And I cannot tell you how many times I've told my story. That number is huge. But outside of that, the media campaign, just to bring awareness to it. And then we have, in my hometown, we have a sexual assault awareness event coming up to also educate, because every victim I've ever talked to has said, you know, my detective said, well, you should have done XYZ to preserve evidence, or you should have done this, this, and this when you immediately after you were sexually assaulted. And she said, well, no one teaches a class on what to do when you get raped. And that resonated with me as well, because how many of us know what hospitals issue rape kits? Like, how many of us know what the process is? None of us. I didn't. The only reason I found out was through someone, my grandmother, who knew through her job.
When you were sexually assaulted, I think you said you were 19. Was this like by somebody that you knew, or were you just like attacked by somebody like you're walking down the street or broken into your house? Like what was?
It was a friend of a friend, basically. So it was my friend, one of her friends' little brother. My phone went missing, and he said, oh, well, I'll help you find it. And I was 19. I cannot name a single person who was very smart when they were 19. I was like, oh, he's my friend's little brother. Like, he's harmless. Well, I'll help you find it. And he pushed me into a room and held me down. And I won't get too graphic here. Choked me so badly that there were bruises. I mean, you know, people get choked during sex all the time. I've never seen anyone with bruises as big as mine. I was blacking out, and I was having the thought of, I'm not going home. My family's going to wonder what the hell happened to me. But my friends were also there, and I heard something as I was blacking out. I just remember, like, I heard something outside, and it sounded like someone was knocking. It was my friend Becca kicking the door. She was trying to kick the door down.
His sister?
No, it was my friend.
Oh, your friend. Okay.
My friend, yeah. And, you know, that's the only reason I made it home ever. Because she had the thought of, like, something's wrong.
You think he would have killed you?
I know he would have killed me because he was not letting go of my throat. And I was starting to black out. I don't know how long it takes to choke someone to death, but it seemed like it was a while.
Wow.
But it was just, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, I asked that question because I'm always like, so I used to study, when I was in college, I studied serial killers, and because I wanted to work in like criminology and forensics and things like that. And like watching a lot of like interviews with serial killers and like rapists and things like that, when they were always, you know, when they were asked like, who was the type of victim you go after, you know, and they would say, well, definitely, like the ones that would go after kids always went after the kids that seemed unkept, that they knew either through family or through friends, was neglected in some way, right? Didn't have parents at home all the time, or maybe, you know, just chaos in the home. Physically, how they looked, did their clothes look clean? Hair look clean? Did they look bathed? And then when the rapist spoke, they would say that they would target women who they either would hear stories of things that they would go through. So they knew in some way that person was a vulnerable person. And so they saw them as a weak person, right? Now the killers are a whole different situation, but the rapists, that's what they would say. So it was always interesting to me, you know, like not because you know how people always say like, don't blame the victim, you know, and I totally get that. Like, don't blame the victim if you truly are a victim, because that's a whole nother story. Are people that, you know, use a rape allegation for attention, and then it turns out that they're not telling the truth. I think those people should be held legally responsible. I
agree.
But if you truly are a victim, like to yourself, did you ever think like, what did I say? What did I do to make him think he could do this to me?
So I definitely have had that thought. I'm 5'7" and about 114 pounds. I was the smallest person there. I was unarmed. I will never do that again, being a small woman. I'm 110% sure that it was the fact that I was the smallest. That's really all I can chalk it up to be. I wasn't old enough to carry a gun yet. I didn't have pepper spray, didn't have a knife. That was stupid. And I will say that now I conceal carry. I have pepper spray. I have my knife. You know, I have to feel
Good for you.
okay. I mean, I have PTSD, so like, I have to know that if this ever happens to me again, I can either kill him or, you know, myself.
Yeah.
Because I will never, ever, 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 ever go through this again and have to suffer the way I suffered when it first happened. I can't do it.
Absolutely.
Mentally, I cannot do it.
No, and I love that. I love that you like said, enough is enough. I'm not going to like be a victim and, you know, I'm all for that. Carry a gun, carry the knife, carry the mace. They even make now, if you ever go to I think it's defenderring.com. They make, it's like a jewelry company. And they make these really cool rings that are like weapons, literally like jagged, and they're super cute. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Yeah.
I won't.
Yeah. No, you should.
My gun is pink, my knife is pink, and my pepper spray is pink. And I'm like, yes, if I'm going to be armed, I'm going to be like super cute with my little, but no, I think what you said about, you know, not being a victim, I'm not a victim. This is something I survived. This is something like, I'm going to take this and I'm going to use it to be stronger, be a bigger version of myself.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to let that man have any more power over me. As a stranger, he should have never had that over me to begin with. But you turn pain into power, and that's just the way you deal with it. Yeah.
But, you know, I'll say this, and I love that you say that. And I also want to commend you, because I don't know if you see it, but I definitely can see it. And I can be a tough critic. I think inside you is a very strong person based on what has happened to you in your life. I can tell that you are still a little bit unsure of your words and yourself, and that's okay. I think you'll get there. You're still very young, you know, but keep telling this story to people, keep sharing and being vulnerable. And yes, don't be a victim, but don't lose your softness either, because that's what makes women great. Right? Don't let what happened to you harden you to the point where you put up a wall. And I say that because I have had things happen to me that I have put up a wall, and it's been detrimental to me in so many aspects of my life, where I use that as my tool, as my weapon, as my defense, right? To protect myself when I start to feel like somebody has triggered me. And Suni talked about this a couple shows ago. Somebody has triggered that weak spot in me, you know? And yeah, I think you're going to do great. And I love to hear stories like this. I think you haven't got it figured out yet, but you're getting there.
I'm getting there. I have a plan if you'd like to hear my plan.
Okay, go ahead. Give me the plan.
We have our media campaign, we have our awareness event, and currently I've had a little bit of help drafting legislation that we've already had support expressed from several representatives and senators. I'll just give y'all the basic points just because I think it's very important. One second. Sensitivity training for police officers is a part of it, because it was the hardest part afterwards, talking to cops that were, I won't even get into it.
Oh, you mean sensitivity training for the victims, not for the criminals?
No, for the police officers. I know,
but for them to have sensitivity with the victims, not the criminals.
Yeah, no, be sensitive with us. Like, I had 2 uniformed cops standing. I was sitting in a chair like this. I'm tiny. They were fully uniformed, big Kevlar vest on. They were like, well, was it anal, oral, or vaginal rape? And I was like, fuck, dude. Like, I literally am sitting in the same clothes. Please just fucking sit down and ask me this question. Don't just hover. Like, it was just there was so much more to it, but I could talk for another hour about it, and I won't do that to y'all. But
Yeah.
that was one part of it. Rape kit testing requirements is another part of it because it's severely underfunded. Severely. The Victims Compensation Fund, it is a thing. There's a year to apply for it, and you have to write an essay on what happened to you, and you have to write an essay on how it affected you. And personally, and I think this applies for most survivors, make a fucking inference. I was raped is all I really need to say. Here's the, police report number. You can go pull that yourself. How does it affect me? Really just like make an inference, please. That shit pisses me off so bad. Like, I wonder how.
Yeah.
So we want to take that away and just make it like minimum for eligibility purpose type questions, and extend the time period for that. And we also, with the rape kit testing requirements, there's a 60-day wait period for the police department to turn rape kits into the TBI. We want to completely take that way down because normally it's 7 days. I wanted to kind of shoot for 72 hours. I was told it was realistic. We'll see. But the last part is that we wanted to create a sex crimes division accountability board, and it's an independent citizen review board of sex crimes unit. Sex crime units, sorry. Because there's no accountability. Like I said, the Metro Nashville Police Department has their own lab and no one knows what's happening in it. No one knows. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. Every time a comment comes up, my ADHD is like, let's look.
Do you have like a relationship? Do you have like a relationship with like the mayor or the governor or anybody like that? Like somebody that can that can get you into a police department, so you can say, hey, like take me through the steps that a rape kit takes when it comes in the door, right? Take me through those steps.
I have a couple of relationships built with a lot of representatives, senators, council people. I've talked to the sex crimes captain in Nashville. I've also talked to the Wilson County Sheriff's Office, which is where I'm from. We've got a lot of meetings set up because, my plan is to keep this momentum going and figure out like where to go from here and how to fix what's fallen through. But yeah, that's the plan, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Well, that's a great plan for your advocacy. I was more talking about you personally because you're very young, and I love that you are getting involved in all this stuff, and I think that telling your story is important to get laws changed and all that. But also be aware that because you have gone through this, that politicians love people like you, and they love to use people like you to push whatever thing that they are trying to push. So just make sure that I would say that you are constantly educating yourself, talking to people on both sides and opposite beliefs of all these issues so that you can get a better, well-rounded understanding. But also make a plan for yourself, for Bailey. That has nothing to do with advocacy, right? Be your advocate for yourself because you're a mama.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you're a mama. You got 2 boys that you gotta make into men.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I do have plans for myself. I don't want to jinx them yet, but maybe I could come update y'all a little later.
Yeah, we're gonna put you on our rehabilitation program.
The Whore No More program.
The Whore No More. Yeah, I mean, we're gonna take away, the stigma around the word whore because we're going to say whore no more, right?
There we go. It works. Suni's got me on her Whore No More program, and it's been obviously very successful.
I feel like a t-shirt is in order. Like we need to create a t-shirt that says hashtag whore no more. Like we need our
I would wear it.
Ser-
I'd wear the fuck out of
seriously.
that.
right? Thank you, Sudi. We got to work on the whore no more t-shirt.
Okay.
Really.
But
We're
yeah,
gonna put OnlyFans out of business.
Oh my gosh, dude.
I've really enjoyed having Suni's take on a lot of this because I've come to her with a lot of my recent endeavors, and
Good.
it's been very valuable to have her input on a lot of this.
Suni's a good person for that.
See, it's
Absolutely.
most people think I'm like in the Discord servers like, shut up, whore. Nope, don't
Yeah.
talk. Mute women 2024.
Yeah.
Like, I say those things, but I say it with intention because I'm not saying women shut up, don't report your sexual assault. That's
Yeah.
stupid. I'm saying in a society where everything is already pandered to us, like we are handed so much as women, and we keep asking for more, but we're not asking for the things that are going to be in our best interest.
Right.
Which is why I think it's great to have you on the show because you talked about where you came from, and you talked about where you're going, and you're talking about where you are now. And you're not speaking a story of victimization. You're telling women it's okay to go through this. You're going to feel crappy, probably going to be depressed. You're probably going to need meds to function, but you can get a gun. You know, don't put yourself in situations like that. Advocate for actual legislation like contraceptives. Fine. That's going to gather a lot of people on board with that.
Yes, absolutely.
But this is not a message that's pushed to women. It's not.
Yeah.
You just teach women to be victims all the time and have the world feel sorry for you. And I don't think that's realistic.
I don't think it is either. And I was raised to never. You can be victimized, but you cannot remain a victim. And that's been my whole takeaway from everything I've been through. You can either you choose to go kick ass about it, or you lay on the ground and stay there forever.
Yeah.
Amen. Thanks. And when you're ready to find a man, okay, Suni may be the go-to person for all the other stuff, okay? But when you're ready to find a man, call Auntie Mo, okay? Because Suni ain't the one for that, okay? She thinks that 7-day Adventist men are like the shit.
Oh my gosh.
She was
Here
a
we
virgin,
go.
got married. That's not, like...
Listen.
Okay, I've been around the block. Okay, I've been married.
Wants to be traditional. Why are you trying to sway her away from the traditional man?
Because I am like the picture of traditional woman,
No,
moderate.
What?
I see those shoulders, ma'am.
Exactly. You're not traditional. Stop it.
Or no more, Auntie Mo. Come on now. We're gonna get you a t-shirt. Cover up those shoulders.
I'm a whore no more graduate. Okay,
I'm over here with a whole turtleneck on, a jacket.
Listen, you can be conservative and sexy at the same time. Listen, there's this girl Linda that we make fun of. Okay, but the one thing I will agree with her on is she is all about conservative. You know, real hot conservative chicks. Okay. And I will say, like, hello, you don't have to be, listen, you don't have to be boring and conservative or boring and a Republican. You could be a very good looking, attractive woman, paint your nails, be girly, do whatever. No, listen, there is no picture of what a conservative is. I mean, as long as see you next
There's
Tuesday.
a definition. Why are we having this conversation again?
But I'm a moderate, okay? I'm the middle of the road.
Okay,
so
then
therefore,
you can't talk about what's conservative and what's not. You a moderate.
Okay, but I'm talking about it I'm just saying I'm a moderate by definition, but the majority of my beliefs are very conservative beliefs. I am the stay at home, the mom, the cook dinner, the do laundry. I'm that person, right? But I'm also a little crazy. Like I'm a little wild too, you know, like I like to have a little fun. I'm not boring. You know what I mean? We're going to find you a good guy when you're ready.
You know what? I'll let you arrange my marriage. Go right ahead. We can get started. We'll give it a few years.
Listen,
it's my dream in life. Oh God, Ruby's here. I don't know if you've met Ruby, but
don't do it, Miss Sophia. Don't do it.
Listen, it is my dream in life to be like
she needs to be someone's matchmaker, please.
An in-person matchmaker, like where I take like a group of girls out and we like go and look for guys. We're not we, but they, and I like coach them.
You need to really do this.
I think it would be amazing.
So I can watch and laugh because I want to see how many of these relationships turn out to be successful or complete shit shows.
No, they're all gonna be great. They are all going to be great.
I love the
Telling you.
manifestation there. I love that. That's great.
They're all going to be great. Trust.
Everybody
Trust
tune
and
in.
believe.
Tune in.
Make it a series.
You should really work on this. I'm like so serious.
See, look, Mad Cow, if he was 30 years younger, he would fly across, he's in Australia, and introduce himself. You could get yourself a little sugar daddy. No, just joking. I'm just joking. I'm not for that. I'm not for that. I'm not for that. Sorry. My whore ways were trying to creep back in there. It happens.
It happens. What can I say?
Yeah.
They try to come back.
Oh,
Find a
God.
man who asked you to go to church.
Mo's gonna tell you don't do that.
I mean, I think church. Listen, I think church is great, but it's no place to get to know a future man. Like, I'm just saying, just you want to meet nice guys, go to places where the guys that you want to meet, right? The man that you're going to sit and think about, your dream man, where would he be? What would he be doing? And what kind of woman would he want?
He could be dumping trash. Is she supposed to go to like garbage dump and like, hang
No.
around there?
He could be an
Where?
exterminator. What am I gonna do?
What if
I'm
he's-
gonna go.
what if-
I'm
yeah.
gonna go wait in a rat trap and be like,
A rat trap. You're gonna have to fight all the other hoes waiting in the rat trap.
oh no, not the whore fight.
Yeah. Here's a former police officer. He's single. Do you have pretty mani petty? Because that's what he's into.
Can you see that? That's not my
Yeah.
camera.
Can you get your toes up in the picture?
No.
Whore no more.
Oh gosh. But you know, we learned last show, Seth is very conservative in the bedroom. And although he was a former cop, he will not put the outfit or put you in the handcuffs, even if you ask him. Not gonna happen. Boring.
See, she already taken you down a path of unrighteousness.
He's boring.
Get a
Soon
7-day
he's about to-
Adventist man.
No, we're gonna make you a lady in the streets and a freak in the sheets. That's it.
I'll watch the show, okay?
It'll be
I will
fun.
offer
I'm
my
down.
commentary after every episode. That's all you're gonna get from me on this.
Please. Wait. Do it live as we're doing it. Just be there and just be like, this is the ugliest man I've ever seen in my life. Like, offer all kinds of shit on him. I think it would
Be
be
all in your
a fun
conversation.
time.
Like, this is what y'all talk about on the
Go
first day.
go to the gun range and like shoot. You know what I
gun
mean? Like you meet a real manly man there,
What
or
if
like
she
Home
finds a
Depot
psychopath there?
or
What if
Home
they're like,
Depot
What if he shoots me?
or Home Depot. Go to Home Depot. Like manly men hang out at Home Depot.
I'm gonna go to Home Depot and walk around and look confused and be like,
No, don't.
they'll have to come
Go-
talk to me. They'll be like, can I help you? Can I help
You
you,
know what?
find something?
I really think like putting a bar at a Home Depot would be like an amazing
what
thing.
the crap?
Yeah.
What is going on?
Just saying. Dude, I'm just saying.
You're going there to buy materials to build, not to
I
have a
know. But as a
No.
woman, like that's so hot. Like a guy building
fuck are you
something.
talking about.
Go buy a chainsaw.
Guys, this
and
is
find
what I
out
go
who
through.
it is.
This is what I go through.
Oh
Listen,
I
man.
like it.
Get a
I
7-day
think this is
Adventist
a great
man.
idea.
You just
Oh.
can't eat pork. That's
Go
it.
ahead. No, that's not it. We went through all the things that 7-day Adventists believe, and they're so strict
No.
on food. It's ridiculous.
No, you can't eat. Listen, don't have seafood, don't have pork. It's that simple.
Hello? No. I gotta have shrimp and I gotta have ribs. I'm sorry.
See,
Giving up crawfish, I don't know.
Exactly.
you don't want to
See?
give up crawfish for love and stability and leadership? Really?
I don't know. I mean, I hate to say it, but sucking the brain out of a crawdaddy is not too bad, I must say. I don't know.
See? I'm gonna watch y'all's. I hope you really make this come to fruition because I want to watch this. I want to see the type of men you set them up with. You should really take her and Bella and just try this on a very small scale and see
Yeah.
what comes of it. Straight up.
I think
like
that'd be-
seriously.
like just have like a live, like where I have them up on here and we just like invite eligible bachelors and we just like screen them.
Yeah.
That's such a good idea. Oh my god.
And then I'll just be in the corner, like I'll hold the signs up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. You need a soundboard. You need a soundboard.
You're gonna be
It would
like
perfect.
the Simon Cowell like on the X Factor or whatever. You're gonna be
Absolutely
like,
not. Get out of
absolutely
here.
not. Yeah.
Get off stage.
No, I mean, when you're for sure, like when you're ready, like if you have questions and you're like, hey, I'm looking at this guy, I am such a good judge of character. Suni can tell you. Suni has brought many people around us, and I'm just like,
Look at Suni's face. Look at Suni's
I'm
face.
just saying. No, because Suni, you know, she trolls over in Discord, and the people that she brings home, the people that she brings home, okay.
Hey, look, I'm working on our first male participant.
OnlyFans model?
Or no more. I'm working
Who?
on our first
Who?
male.
Do I know who this is?
2K. Tyler 2K. I am working.
What?
I would love to seriously have him on here and just listen. He's not going to respond to me. I'm too harsh.
Uh-huh.
But I think he would respond to you because you're more kinder, you're softer.
He's a man whore.
He for sure. Like
I
the
love
definition.
2K. I really do, but he's one of the most hard-headed people I've ever met in my life. God bless
Let's
him.
go. You gotta have you gotta have him on.
Okay, first
You
of all,
gotta reach out to him. I can't, because if I do it, he's just gonna reject me.
I could probably facilitate.
Let Bambi do it and tell him he's gonna be talking to Mo, and I'm just
Yeah.
gonna kind of sit here
okay.
and I'll be the peanut gallery.
But I don't do
I
this.
just need to see this go down.
But just let people know, like, I don't do this 2K Instagram name bullshit. Like, you need to come with your real government name over here.
His name's Tyler.
Not Tyler Bluntman.
No.
Oh,
No.
I was like,
No.
there's no helping him. I can't. No, I retire. I'm out of business.
Before you even start with the men, it's
2K.
crazy.
Tyler 2K. Did you see my? Let's try to do a preview.
Do we have a picture of him that we could show really quick?
I was gonna say, if you go to my
Okay.
Instagram, there are 2 videos.
Okay.
There are 2 videos, and this is the guy that I would love to bring on. Not even to make fun of him, because we didn't make fun of you. I hope you enjoyed coming on, Bambi. I hope we can have you back.
This was fun. This was very
Have
fun.
you
I'd
back
love
for
to be
some more
back. I was-
commentary on the legislation that you're pushing, because I'm going to pay attention to that. I want to see where this goes.
Please
But
do. I would love your input on it as well if you have any
I'm
opinion.
not going to disrespect you, bro. For some reason, I care. I tell him this all the time. Like, you're a complete stranger on the internet, but listening to you talk, you just make me sad. Like,
This
you
is
make
not him.
me sad. This is him. Go ahead and can you play the second one first?
Okay, I didn't even get this post where you said this is a real trend. Like, what is he doing? I thought he was gay. Oh God.
Yeah.
Is he gay?
Listen,
What
I'm
is the
trying to figure
trend?
that out. It's you're pretending that you're a girl, and then you pop the hood off, and it turns out you're a man. You're like kind of trolling the internet.
Who's this girl?
His sister.
Oh, his sister.
Yes. Oh wait.
Oh man, I got my work cut out.
Good luck. Mo.
Please.
I have my work cut out for me on this one.
Yes. That is Tyler.
Okay.
You think you can do it? You think you can pull this off?
Yeah, I'll try. Look at Angel. She's over here trying to. Can you get somebody between 55 and 65? Girl, one at a time, Angel. Damn.
Listen.
And here we have Angel. She has sex on the hood of cars. with the
Oh,
sun's
don't
going
do it
down.
like that. She was married.
No, I
when
get
she
it. It was
did
her
that.
husband. No, but still, it's still okay. I'm sorry, Angel. My bad.
Angel,
And I-
we're
and-
gonna have to get you on Whore No More. It works. Trust.
Yeah, and Angel, I don't want to like bypass all the stuff that you were saying about your daughter. I was reading it as it was coming through, but I didn't want to interrupt the conversation. You've got another story that's crazy, but prayers to your daughter. Anyways, well, I'm glad you had fun. We got to end the show. Well, we got to end this segment of the show because we got to get started on all of our other topics as far as we can get.
Mhm.
but it was a great having you on.
I had
And
so much fun. Thank you guys so much for having me.
good. And I hope you were less nervous towards the end.
Yeah, I had fun. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, thank you, Bailey. And you guys, if you guys want to follow Bailey, you can go into the description of wherever you're watching these videos and you can find her social media. She's on Twitter at Bailey K. Jones. She's on TikTok at Bailey K. Lonnie and Instagram at Bailey K. Lonnie. So you can go again in our description of the video and follow her there. Did you just like hang up on her or did she just leave?
No, she dipped.
Oh,
She
damn.
dipped.
She
She's
could
probably
wait.
like, oh, they're done with me. All right, peace. Pew.
Right. Pew.
Oh man, listen.
That's nice. That was interesting.
It was
Man.
interesting. What annoyed me the most was the comments.
Yeah, what was good? There was something else going on in Discord.
I don't know. There's stuff going on in Discord. There's Discord beef spilling over into this comment section. You got people going back and forth. But one thing I noticed about people in Discord and anybody who has actually spent time in there, when you try to pull someone up, they don't like that. When you see someone like Bella, bro, you do not fit in here. I know you don't like doing what you do. And I know you just get on here for entertainment, right? I saw that. And I'm just like, come over here. You know, Bryson too. Come hang out with us. Let's talk about Bible verses. Let's sit down and have different Bible studies. People get irritated with that. Bambi, dude, I would love to have you on my show because I love her story. Her story is great. And the way she tells her story is great. Once again, it seems like they're jealous of you. How? By simply, asking the hard questions, by simply telling someone you're more than this. You can do way better. Congratulating them on, the fact that she even knew me not having my dad is the main reason I'm going through all these things. People, not only were they fighting with you, but they're fighting with her. It's like watching somebody rise up and then watching a bunch of crabs in a bucket be like, no, you can't leave us.
Misery likes company.
It's crazy, dude.
Yeah, that is crazy. But it's actually a good thing that that you're connecting those dots so people know exactly what was going on.
Yeah.
Because that's what people do, right?
Yes.
Those people that are miserable and just sit in these Discord servers and on the internet all day and send nasty messages, they come in here. It's that is literally the devil. Okay. They come in here to tell her you're never going to overcome this.
Right.
You're going to stay in this place forever. They don't care about you. It's wild, right? How evil does its bidding right there out in the open.
It's crazy. But they don't see that they're doing it. They're like, you're up there with these two harsh women. And the girl's fine. She's like, dude, I can handle my own. Like, they're not asking me anything tough. We talked to her at the beginning of the show. Anything you're not comfortable answering, just let us know. Not one time did she say, I'm not comfortable answering that question. She didn't say it. But it was just surreal watching people really hate someone progressing, someone doing better. And someone calling a spade, like
in real time.
That was wild to me. And I wonder if she picked up on it. I'll talk to her about it in the Discords, but that was crazy.
See, I didn't even pick up on it like that. I thought that these were people that like knew her and they were like coming to her defense and they were just like, oh, why are you asking her this question?
Yeah.
Like I'm just like, hello, that's what an interview is about. Like these are the same people that are just like, oh, like let's just coddle everybody and like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, that's what I was taking it as, that they were those types of people.
I mean, I don't know, bro. It's just odd to me how people feel like they're protecting you when really they're stunting growth. Because once she is ascending into the political realm, you're getting involved with legislation and you're also using your own personal story. They're using your personal story as a catalyst to push forth this legislation, right? On top of that, you're coming out and saying you did OnlyFans for 2 months. You're coming out and you're admitting all these things. What she got here was milk. compared to what she's going to get out there.
Mhm.
They're going to run her through the mud. When
Mhm.
Republicans get wind of this going on in Tennessee, they're going to take her through the freaking, what do
Mhm.
you call it? They're going to take her to the
The
cleaners, bro.
ringer.
Yeah, the
Mhm.
ringer.
Yeah.
So what she got here was just like, tell your story, tell the truth, and you'll see it that you'll have people support you in the truth. But she's
Mhm.
also going to get a completely different side of this. And where are those people going to be? Are you going to
Right.
exist in a comment section with thousands of other people saying exact opposite? Then what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Then what?
Mhm. Crazy.
It's wild.
I don't know. I
Psychology
mean,
is
so
amazing.
with this other guy, 2K, like, is this just for fun, or like, do you really like think that this person could be better? Because I don't want to waste my time with like,
I do think he can. I think that he has the lowest form of self-esteem that I've ever seen in a man.
mm,
The lowest. And I also think that he has denial out of this world about himself.
mm-hmm.
And he seems to only respond to a certain type of woman speaking to him. I know he's going to listen to you because he is openly admitted to being a simp. If you're pretty and you talk soft,
Mm-hmm.
he's going to listen to what you have to say. He's also going to spill his guts to you. Now, do I think he'll change? I don't know. That who knows? But do I think he'll be receptive? Probably. And I think you're going to be more tickled and put off by a lot of things that he says.
I don't know,
than
because I
not.
saw that video and I was like, ugh. I thought he was gay. I was like, is this some type of gay TikTok trend? I don't understand.
He needs to hear that though,
Yeah,
because
that he's
there are
very
women
feminine.
who think that's cute.
Well, because women now are looking for feminine men.
Thank you. And he's also the guy that said he would allow his woman to bring the dog in bed if it was an ultimatum.
Oh, that he was in our chat and he said that? Was he
I
in our
don't know. He
chat?
was in Discord. I had asked it in Discord.
Oh. Don't bring that shit
So.
up again. Don't bring that shit up again.
Why? Because I won? I know. You gotta take your little happy ass to sleep and be like, I'm going to watch TV.
I was gonna watch Golden Girls. I'm like, I'm done with this shit. Oh man. He will listen, but as far as changing, I don't know. Because he's stuck in his ways and was raised by his mom. How old is he?
30.
In his 20s? 30. I was gonna guess like in his early 20s. What the heck?
30 years old.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. Watch. Bambi's gonna go in there and be like, bro, I had so much fun. Bella did the same thing. I had so much fun. Go on there. It actually feel good, and you'll feel like you have goals to reach afterwards. And there are gonna be
Aw.
people in there that are like, don't go on there, dude. Suni's just gonna drag you. And you know what's crazy? I love proving everyone wrong because when we do have people on here, I am the quietest and the calmest until it is my turn to speak. And when I do
Yeah.
speak, I'm very respectful.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's
love
true.
it. It's amazing.
It's true. Man, we really need to work on the hashtag Horror No More t-shirts. That's a real thing. Like we need to.
I already started it. I put it in my.
And I
my
feel like
little-
every time we bring a guest on, we just need to send them a Horror No More t-shirt as a
That would be
consolation.
fun. Like a little, consolation. Like, thanks for coming on. Good idea.
I mean, if you were like in line at Target and you were standing behind somebody and you looked at their shirt and it said Horror No More, like, wouldn't you be intrigued? I'd be like, wait, what? Be like, where'd you get that shirt?
You see how Mo took that down? I allowed my ex to bring the dog to bed, but now she sleeps at his place. She took that down real quick. She said, bloop. I caught that.
Oh god.
I caught that whole play.
It was just we were just past that. Okay, Madam Cow, we had moved past that. It's all good. I let my
Did
dog
we?
sleep in
Because
the
I'm
bed.
still feeling a little petty. I might be a little petty for like one more week. I don't know yet. It depends on what he come out and say.
Oh man. Okay. Did you see? Okay, so let's move on to this topic really quick because I think this is the
Yeah.
funniest and easiest topic to get to. So Blanchard,
Oh,
he put up
God.
he put up the funniest video of this Beyonce.
I saw this. I didn't watch
People-
it, but I seen it.
People making fun of this Beyonce and her skin being white. So people are like, you know, she's like, what is it? She's like white. I forget what people are saying. White something, skin bleaching. She's trying to be white. Now her skin is super light. No, they're arguing about her color tones. Okay, let's see what Blanchard put together this little remix. It's hilarious.
Must not know about me. You must not know about me. I will be another shade in a minute. Matter of fact, I will be light-skinned, baby. You must not know about me. You must not know about me. So don't you ever for 1 second get to thinking that black is beautiful.
Oh Lord, he didn't put a picture of a woman getting her skin bleached. That's funny.
He said, "Black is beautiful."
Yeah. So Beyonce stepped out with a new look, her first public appearance with this blonde hair, and people are losing their minds. I think that's the only picture I had of her, but people are losing their minds, okay, over this.
Well, you know what? Here's
White
what
face.
I say. Rightfully so.
Mm-hmm.
Now, other people are white people outraged about this, or is it just black people?
I think it's a mixture of both. Because
Okay.
white people are saying cultural appropriation, right? Because white people
Good.
get that all the time.
Good.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm glad they're doing that because they're countering a hypocrisy. If it is okay for you to put blonde, actually, no, if it is okay for you to criticize white women for wearing braids, these protective styles that you claim to own,
Mhm.
and you get on them for upgrading their bodies to give themselves more curves, right? Then they get to call you out for wearing hairstyles that aren't natural to yourself, putting
Mhm.
on lighter tones that aren't natural to yourself, and taking a style that predominantly white women wore in time periods. I think it's justified. In fact,
I
when has she ever been dark skinned? That's what I'm trying to freaking figure out.
mean, I think people need to grasp the whole concept of lighting. Okay. If you watch like Beyonce's here's a picture of her. If you watch Beyonce's documentary and you see her without makeup and all this other stuff, all the accoutrements that go into being Beyonce, her skin tone changes quite a bit because when she's on stage, there's lighting. When she's in a photo, there's lighting. Take it from somebody who changed their hair color all the time. That changes the color of your skin. I have a bright light on me right now. I look super whitewashed. Okay, if I turn this off, I'm gonna look a different color.
Yeah.
So I said to Suni today, I'm just like, can we just stop already? Like, just leave Beyonce, like leave people to do what they want to do. All the people that want to wear braids and you're not black, let them wear the braids. If you white, if you black and you want to have lighter skin or you want to wear a wig with straight hair, let them do that. Okay. I think people are just fixating on the wrong thing. Okay. She is, yes, overrated as a singer. I think she's a great performer. She puts on a great show. But I don't know. Like I could care less what her skin tone is.
Yeah, dude. I don't get the I don't know. I don't really get the complaints. I don't really get why anybody cares. I don't even see why this is a discussion. I really don't.
Changing your hair color doesn't change the color of your skin. It changes the appearance of your skin. So what your eye sees is going to be a little bit different when you have different hair color. Like when I was bleach blonde, just a little bit of sun made me look tanner. When I have darker hair, my skin looks lighter because it's up against a darker contrast. That's just how it is. And then you add lighting to it already. So it's crazy. I mean, she's pretty light skinned right here.
That's what I'm saying. She's not a dark skinned woman. So I don't really understand. And who gives a fuck? Who cares?
Yeah, this is the picture that had people in an uproar. I mean,
who cares?
Next to Blackity Black Jay-Z, I mean, she's wearing a silver dress that's reflecting. Okay, this is the other thing. Okay, and I know this because I model, right? When you want to look brighter and whiter, you put a white, like if I put a white cardboard right underneath me, hell, I'll just do this paper. This is going. See this? It just made me
Yeah,
lighter,
it just made you lighter.
right? Just made me lighter. That's how color balance works, people. Okay, so she's next to Blackity Black Jay-Z, okay, in his white suit, and she's got a reflective silver dress on and blonde hair. Of course, she's going to look whitewashed. Oh my God.
Is she bleaching or is that Flash high as F? Everyone trying to look like the Kardashians these days. I mean, yeah.
Now
I
this
just-
this one's news to me. Okay, I didn't know he got that light.
Oh yeah, he's been bleaching his skin for years. I
Who is
remember when
that?
he started. What's
He's a
his
baseball player?
name? Yeah, he's a baseball player. Sammy Sosa.
Oh, damn, he went that. Maybe does he have
Yep.
the vitiligo like Michael Jackson?
No, I don't think so. I think he just lit his skin up.
Is that how you spell
Put
it?
the Sammy Sosa.
I don't
even
know,
if
'cause
that's his. Yeah, there he goes.
See, but people be exaggerating. You see that? He don't look as white as they were just making him look. And look at his wife.
He is definitely lighter than he is ever.
He's
been.
lighter. Yeah, but I'm wondering. See, because look at these spots. I think he's got the vitiligo.
If he does, he does, but I don't think so.
Is that him right there?
Yep.
Why he looks Italian? Oh Lord. He's Dominican, isn't he?
I don't know.
What the hell is this? What? What in the powder?
You remember that movie, Powder?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yep, there it goes. That's
He
him.
was so cute back then. Oh, when he was in his young days.
And then he switched up and just started doing
How
weird
the
stuff.
hell?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm about to research this because I don't know how that happened. I'm about to go down a rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole.
Down the rabbit hole. Nobody should care. People can do whatever they want to their hair or whatever. It is ridiculous. I agree. I agree.
I agree.
Okay, what's
Oh,
your story that you want to
no.
bring up?
I had a story?
Yeah, didn't you have a story?
I told you. I said if I saw anything, I would bring it up, but I didn't see anything. You had
All
all
right.
the topic.
Let's bring up Deontay's idol, Elon Musk. So,
Oh Lord.
Elon Musk tells companies participating in X or Twitter advertisers boycott to go fuck yourself. So basically, my understanding, well, let's just watch the video.
Tour, if you will. That this had been said online. There was all of the criticism. There was advertisers leaving. We talked to Bob Iger
I hope
today.
they stop.
You hope
Don't advertise.
you don't want them to advertise?
No.
What do you mean?
If somebody's going to try to blackmail me with advertising, blackmail me with money, go fuck yourself.
They don't know what to do. Look at him.
Go fuck yourself.
He grabbed his mouth. He did
Yeah.
this.
I hope it is. Hey, Bob, if you're in the audience.
Well, let me ask you then.
That's how I feel. Don't advertise.
How do you think that about apology?
He's like, I want to see the whole clip because I want to see where that went after that. What do you think about that?
Great. There's things that I like Elon for, and then there's things that I think he's just absolutely maniacal on. Like, I believe his intentions of putting people on Mars is just very anti-God and anti-human. But when he says things that are worth listening to, I listen, and that's awesome. Tell them to go fuck themselves.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you think you're, and he can say that because he has a crazy amount of money. Like, you can't blackmail him. You can't. Okay, you're going to take money away. Okay, great. There are
Mhm.
going to be more investors that want to come on specifically because he's Elon Musk. So he
Yeah.
he's got the freedom to do that.
Yeah.
Shout out to that guy.
I mean, I think in a way he was taking a page out of Dana White's book because there was like a clip of Dana White from the UFC kind of saying the same thing. You know, like people were telling him like, oh, how can you have Bud Light as an advertiser when they're tied to the whole LGBTQ thing? And he's just like, I don't give a fuck who people vote for. Like, this is UFC. Like, we're welcoming everybody. Like, we're not about that. Like,
Yeah.
he literally said the same thing. Like, go fuck yourself.
Go F yourself.
Yeah. I think the difference for me between Dana White he loves, the UFC. He really believes in it. I always felt like Elon had buyer's remorse with Twitter. Like he inherited like a pain in the ass that he really didn't even realize it was going to be. And part of me thinks that he said this because he truly could kind of give an F about anything at this point. Like he's just like, I mean, if you want to sink this company, go ahead, go for it. One less headache that I have to deal with. But I could be wrong, but that's just a theory to me. I mean, I think he felt really good about himself because he's kind of like the dorky guy. And he had like a cool guy moment. He just looks so proud of himself. He's like, told them to go fuck themselves. Like, he's just like, super excited.
He like looked in the crowd. He was smiling there. He was low key trying to hide how hard he wanted to cheese.
Yeah. Deontay's got a few questions. Is there a difference between an OnlyFans model and a porn star? After watching this interview, I think so. She shed some light on why she started OnlyFans and why she quit OnlyFans. She only did it for 2 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's not space exploration that is anti-God. It is him wanting to put humans on another planet that weren't designated to humans as a human. That is putting yourself in a superior position, which I don't agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we were made to be on Mars, and that's where we would be, we would have all the natural equipment and abilities to function and thrive. It's just that simple for me. After that, he went on to say, the world will know if X dies. It's advertisers to blame.
See, that tells me he has no intention of saving X if it goes down the drain. He's like, I ain't using a single red cent on my money. Okay.
I don't know what's going to happen with Twitter. I really don't.
They need to go back to calling.
Part of me feels like Twitter is going to turn into Facebook, which is a ghost town. Nobody's really. There's people on Facebook, but it's mainly the older generation of people watching on Facebook, and they like to look at Facebook for politics.
Yeah.
Twitter failed on DeSantis's political announcement of him running for president. They couldn't take all the people that were coming on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was crazy. People were getting kicked out of the live. People couldn't hear the live. It didn't work.
Yeah.
It works for podcasts, but not anything live. The only thing you can really do is host a clubhouse, and even then you can't do it. Celebrities can't get on there and have millions of people watching them or listening.
How does Tucker do it?
His is pre-recorded, and then they just put the video out.
Oh, gotcha. Oh, I see what you're saying. A live platform. I gotcha.
Yeah. Like, look.
Could you do it before?
No, these are added features. But
Oh,
I don't think people are saying that Twitter is going to be the town hall of town halls. This is where everyone will meet. This is where ideas will be discussed. And I think it will last, but I don't think it's going to stick around as long as people think it is. I don't.
Mm-hmm.
I just really don't. And I only say that because, look, if we compare DeSantis' rollout to this debate, it had nearly 5 million viewers. So,
which wasn't a lot in comparison to like Trump's interview with Tucker.
No, but he's Trump.
Or Candace's interview with Tucker. Candace's interview with Tucker was also.
Candace.
I know, but I'm just saying.
The people who really wanted to see DeSantis and Gavin Newsom, those people watched. I don't think anybody else is really interested because, like they already said on during their debate, neither one of them is going to be the nominee. And I think they both know that.
The one truth that Newsom told.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The one. But
one
even Political says the event likely won't do much to budge either governor's trajectory, but the number is a healthy total nonetheless. I have to agree. And this is why I said it was bad for DeSantis, because he got his ass handed to him.
Mm-hmm.
He did bad.
He did. But if you go on Twitter, there's tons of people saying he did amazing.
Listen, I legit saw Trump signing a girl's breast today.
God. Who cares?
Libtards will be the reason why X fails. Well, yeah, they're gonna complain about the censorship not being enough. They're gonna complain about people being able to put their actual ideas out. I just don't think it'll last.
Mm,
I don't think it'll last.
yeah. I don't think so either. All right, let's talk about Young Jeezy.
Young Jeezy was cheating, according to
Jeannie
his
Mai.
estranged wife. I would just say, FAFO, Jeezy. Don't feel bad for your player. You effed around and found out you got with a woman who was clearly divorced for a reason, and you had a baby by her, and she trying to trap you by saying, "Well, you cheated on me, so I'm gonna need you to come up off that money. We signed a prenup, but it states if there's infidelity, that you got to pay me." I don't feel bad for him.
So this is what it says. The tea is hot. Yesterday, we reported that Jeezy filed court papers to implement a custody schedule for his daughter with Jeannie Mai due to Jeannie allegedly keeping their daughter away from him. That's a shame. Well, now Jeannie is firing back at Jeezy with her own counterclaim that accuses him of being unfaithful in their relationship. According to documents obtained by TMZ, Jeannie's lawyer filed a motion that directly insinuates that Jeezy cheated on Jeannie and he will have to pay. Literally. The lawyer writes, wife reserves the right to amend this counterclaim to add other grounds for divorce, but which wife does not wish to specify herein at this time in the hope this matter can be resolved without having to disclose such conduct publicly. Woo! It goes on to say a bunch of other stuff, but in other words, Jeannie doesn't want to pull all of their business out on Front Street. Of course she does. So she's trying to keep it cute, but essentially she's asking the judge to award her money in their divorce due to the infidelity clause in their prenuptial agreement. She didn't provide any details about who he cheated on with or when, but it's clear she wants that bag. Now, Mo found this interesting clip, which was from the interview that Jeezy did with Nia Long not too long ago. And this is what he had to say about cheating.
You know, some chick that's willing to like make you feel like a king, because that's why most men cheat. Most men cheat because
that's fascinating to me.
It's so gross. It's so stupid.
I personally, this is my quote, and real niggas don't cheat.
You don't think so?
Hell no.
You don't think so?
I kind of understand what you mean when you say that.
They do not.
I understand what you mean when you say that.
It's something in us that makes us want to be right across the board.
But is that so that you are living up to the expectation that you've set for yourself? Or,
Oops. Anyways, I like this comment that said, girl, he didn't cheat. He just don't want to live with you and your mama forever. Okay, listen, Mo is an avid watcher of Hello Honey, okay, which is Jeannie's YouTube show that she does. I watch all the episodes because I'm fascinated with other people's lives in that way. And her mother, she talks about this openly, dude. Jeannie herself has called herself mean and somewhat toxic. Okay.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So although I don't know the facts in this situation, I think Jeezy used Jeannie to get into different rooms that he may not have been in before, right? I think he's trying to improve his image from like street to a little bit different, right? He's trying to so I think he used Jeannie for that. I think that was a marriage of convenience. I think Jeannie really thought, I think Jeannie really thought she was in love because, she made that comment one time that she likes her dark meat on the side, but she prefers white men. But she had also once said prior to her and Jeezy ever meeting when she was on the real show, that she had a crush on Jeezy. So she had had her sights set on Jeezy for a while. I don't believe her.
I mean, I don't know, man. I'm just starting to feel less and less bad for men at this point. Because how do you ignore obvious signs, right? Like how do you How do you get with someone having never been married? How do you get married to someone who's clearly been divorced and they openly talk about their toxic traits that they clearly have not dealt with because she
Right.
moved her entire family into your house? And I'm sure that wasn't the first instance of that is after marriage. I'm pretty sure her family's probably been around for a minute, bro. Like, come on.
Oh, they've been around from the start.
Come on, dog. I
Yeah.
just can't feel bad for him. I'm sorry. I want to. I want to.
I know.
But that's
It's
ignoring
not,
red flag. I mean, red flags.
yeah, no. I don't feel sorry for him by any means. I'm just saying I don't believe a word she has to say.
I don't
All
believe
right.
he cheated on her either. I believe she just wants
Yeah.
some money. Because
I believe she
hello,
wants some money,
might not be doing
honey.
so well.
Yeah. Hello, honey. All right, so let's talk about another simp. Keke Palmer requests to postpone Darius Jackson restraining order hearings. I remember she put a restraining order against him because she feared for the life of her and her son. Let me tell you something. Makeup is a hell of a thing. Okay. Makeup and a wig and some
She looks like
lighting.
a drag queen.
This is what it can do for you. It can completely change your facial features. All right. I wonder if those bruises are from Darius. Okay. Keke Palmer wants to postpone her currently scheduled court hearing with ex-boyfriend Darius Jackson. She filed a motion in Superior Court of California on Wednesday to delay the pair's December 5th hearing until they attend mediation together. According to the court documents, Palmer noted that she and Jackson, who's 29, are concurrently filing to extend the court's order to participate in mediation, which was originally set for Wednesday and at Palmer's request for a restraining order. The parties request that the mediation and petitioners' DVRO be continued to a mutually agreeable date. What a mess. Okay. What a mess.
She's listen. This is what women do when they want to threaten a man.
Mm-hmm.
Public humiliation and character assassination. That's the first thing women go to when a man has hurt them, pissed them off, or harmed them in some way.
Yeah.
And I think her putting that footage out, her doing the most with the leaked clips of her mom acting a plumb ratchet fool on the internet, talking about she gonna shoot people, turns out the brother that deleted the tweet that we were talking about during that show, that brother is now facing charges of abuse for a previous relationship that he was in. So it seems to me that Keke got mad at something that he said, or Keke got mad that he snatched that phone up out of her hand because he said, "I want to know what you're doing." He probably got real territorial and masculine after the whole Usher fiasco, and she wasn't having it. And I think this was her attempt at, okay, I got you. I'm gonna show you, and then you decide it's okay to do it in mediation when this guy is a crazed, abusive lunatic that is like handling your son roughly.
Yeah.
We talked about this. Like,
you were afraid
on,
for his life. Okay. That was your words. All of a sudden it could be mediated.
Now you want to mediate? Get out of here.
I'm telling you. Since we're on a simp,
what is this?
Dude, this came across my thing. Okay, woman goes viral for showing what dating options are like nowadays. Now, this goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Watch this video. I was like, is this for real? Watch this.
I hate online dating. Let's look at Nick for a second. He is 38 and he had the audacity to like me. Watch him. I'm a single father of 6 with one on the way. And they are my world. I sure would hope so, Nick. If you don't have what it takes to help me raise my kids, then move aside and let a real woman step up. If you want to spend time with me, you have to pay for my babysitter, must pay for my haircuts and beard trim, must have your own car, must have your...
What'd you say?
I said, how does it feel, ladies?
Oh, dang.
How does it feel, ladies?
Wow. Okay, wait.
What are you coming to the table with, ladies? That's all he did was flip the script. Baby daddy
You
is 6
think that's what
kids.
he was doing?
Hell yeah.
Oh, look at somebody said, must pay for my haircuts and beard, must have your own car, must have your own house, must be able to cook and clean and be submissive. Somebody said basically all he did was post what he sees on apps and in society from women, but flipped it to see y'all reaction. No one
Boom,
seems to
boom,
have
boom,
caught.
boom, boom.
Dang.
How's it feel?
Wow, that's pretty interesting. You're smart. I didn't even look at the comments. I just saw this and I was like, what the hell? That's funny. Listen,
How does
Linda.
it feel? As soon as I saw must have a house, must have this, bro, women do that. So how does it feel? Yeah, those are your dating options. Yep. You're on an app. What do you expect? I don't know why these women expect to meet Prince Charming on an app that anybody
Yeah.
can join for free 99 with no vetting process, no nothing. These people can get up there and put whatever information they want to put on there.
Yeah.
You're taking this serious? That's a L for you. You should go viral for being an idiot. Why are you even
Listen.
considering those options?
This just goes to show that I am so tainted by the internet that I'm like, nothing surprises me anymore.
Good
Like I was
Lord,
fully
man.
willing to just be like, I guess is what we're doing now.
Come on.
Okay. Is this guy gay, by the way? Can I ask? I don't know anything
I
about him.
believe he is, yeah.
He really
but-
does look gay. I mean, he looks like he's
Yeah.
literally sitting on a dick in this picture.
I don't
All
know
right.
what that literally looks like,
He's
but
just
I
like-
don't want to know.
He's just like, ooh, that's what it looks like. Ooh. You know? Okay, so today the U.S. House of Representatives voted on Resolution 878 for the expulsion of House Member Representative George Santos, and we had a whole bunch of Republicans voting to out him based on allegations that he, again, allegations, not convictions or proven facts, but allegations that he mishandled donations and all kinds of other stuff, right? They want him out of there. And he's
Get out of here.
He's for New York. He is a representative from New York. I think our side just keeps getting lamer and lamer and lamer and lamer and dumber and dumber and dumber. We just don't want to win ever. Okay. We just try to lose.
Yeah,
We just
like
try.
I agree with some of the comments. Adam Schiff is still there. Eric
Yeah.
Swalwell is still there. Nancy Pelosi is still there. Maxine Waters is still there. Let me keep going.
Mhm. Keep
Marjorie
going,
Taylor
Joe.
Greene, who does absolutely nothing, is still there. Lauren Bobart, who just like has a photo op every couple days and goes viral for those photo ops, or
Yeah.
getting it popping in a movie theater like a fucking weirdo.
Did you see that picture of her with Dave Chappelle? I said the
Yeah.
only reason why Dave Chappelle meet with her is because he said, listen, I want to use that little skit in the movie theater in my next stand-up special on Netflix.
Come on, bro. Like, come on, bro. Can we get rid of the people that matter? Can we do that? Nancy Pelosi is 80 something years old. She pushing 90.
Yeah.
Get her out. Expel her. 105 Republicans decided to remove Santos, but don't get rid of any of the people in Congress causing chaos. Why is
Yep.
Rashida Tlaib still there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What's her name?
The Muslim
Dirty,
mafia.
shithole country. What's her name?
AOC. Well, there's AOC.
The one that looked over. She looked like one of them African kids with the big stomachs. What's her name?
With the big stomach.
They always be on the hunger infomercials.
On their hunger
And
infomercial.
They don't do it no more like that. But back in the day, they always had the African kids on there.
Yeah.
With the big stomachs and the flies flying all
But
over
who
the
is
face.
that? But who are you talking about?
She got mad at Trump for saying
Are you talking about the one that wears the head wrap?
hijab. Yes. What's her name?
I can't remember her name.
Her.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Why she ain't up out of there?
I don't
She
know.
trying to bring a whole
The
bunch of
squad. She's with the
Muslim
squad.
customs to this country.
Yeah.
Come on.
But here we go. Like they just want to flex on some shit that doesn't matter. You know what I mean? And now you idiots just opened up a seat for these people to hold a special election and put one of their own in
Democrats.
there.
Yep.
Y'all
They're gonna put an
dumb.
establishment. Whether it's
And we're
Democrat
gonna
or Republican, doesn't
lose
really
the
matter.
little majority that we had, the little tiny
Oh,
majority, the sliver that we had. Y'all just fucked it up.
dang, y'all always doing some stuff. Look, Republicans are voting for gays, same-sex marriage. Now y'all voted to get rid of McCarthy just to put in a Zionist shill. Now you getting rid of this dude, but y'all won't get rid of none of the people who matter. None of the people who matter. That's actually my next topic.
Who?
Can you bring
What?
Mr. Blasphemous up?
Which one? This one?
Lil Nas X. Yeah, his blasphemous, disgusting ass.
God. I can't, man. This thing was funny. I didn't even know he had come out with a Christian song or what.
Why? Here's my question, okay? If we are such hateful people and we are like the most dangerous people on this planet, why do y'all read our books? Why do y'all talk about our God? Why do y'all get territorial over our God, our biblical principles when you don't even believe in it? Why do you think you're going to get on the internet and talk about sucking D, okay? And then attaching it to Christianity, and you think Christians aren't going to say anything? Why do y'all constantly want the smoke only to play victim? This is what I legit want to know. Christians get such a bad rep in this country for being intolerant, for being this. You guys are bullies. Y'all don't want to be welcome of everybody, but you guys get to be, antagonistic. Can you play the video? You get to be antagonistic and do disgusting, perverted shit.
Is it playing sound? No.
I don't get it.
I can't play the video because it's gonna copyright us. I can read the lyrics. Okay, the lyrics are: Father, stretch my hands. The lonely road seems to last the longest. Help me with my plans. Everything seems to go to nowhere. Free me from worry, wanting pity. Free me from all this envy in me. I don't want these feelings. I call on angels. I'm trying hard to face my pain. Give me hope when I feel. Give me hope when I feel less.
Sir.
Sounds like a Lowe's Alexander.
You feel all these things because you are a homosexual.
Mm-hmm.
So no, you can't talk about Christian values or make a Christian song while sucking D in a parking lot.
But he still wants to suck D, Suni.
You can't. The two are definitely mutually exclusive. Making Christian music does mean you can't be sucking D no more, or carpet munching, or scissoring, or rubbing lips, or whatever.
I'm
y'all
allowed to get on my knees for for praying and for sucking
multiple
dick.
reasons,
Yeah,
and then
for praying,
and then they play victim.
Mm-hmm.
Leave us alone.
Yeah, I think he's about, I don't know, 2 months away from entering some type of rehabilitation program, or we're gonna hear something about him. I'm telling you.
Dang.
Mm.
Leave us alone.
Did you hear about this story?
I did. I wanted to do more research in it because the videos that I've seen before and after,
I heard she kind of started it.
I heard they started it.
Let me see.
I don't know.
Let's see. You know who's probably gonna have a video up on this? Right Wing Angel.
Look how we both say the same damn thing. That's a shame.
Shout out to Oliver. Shout out to Right Wing Angel. All right, let's see. Come on, Right Wing Angel.
It isn't up there.
Don't fail me now. Well, it was a while. Like this was actually a while ago.
It isn't up there.
No, it ain't up here. I know he was posting about it. Oh Lord, he's got some crazy stuff on here, man.
You criticize Muhammad and see what happens to you. Shoot. criticize you know who and see what happens to you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I saw on his page that he had posted a video, and I wish I could pull it up, but he had posted a video that showed this girl starting it. And he made
Starting
a
what?
comment, starting whatever fight or altercation they got into.
Mm.
Let me see what the story
I haven't
says
done
here.
enough. I have to look into it. I haven't done enough research. to give
So
an
a
opinion.
black female high school student was suspended for 5 days after her nose was broken during an apparent hate crime by a white male student last week. Other students who witnessed the attack said she was defending herself, and the male student was only suspended for 3 days. The incident occurred at the Mission East High School in Shawnee Mission, Kansas, where a 15-year-old black female student, only identified as Bree, reportedly confronted a white female classmate for using racial slurs and calling other black students slaves.
Mhm.
As Bree walked away, a male student tells her to shut the F up and starts hurling the N-word, as reported by the Kansas City Defender.
That's actually the story.
Yeah, but there was a video. That's what I wish I could get.
It was her confronting the people who use the slur.
Student, but see, the video that I saw was people arguing, oh, look, she started it. See, this is horrible, but we are ignoring the fact that she hit first. Yes, he said racial slurs, but does that give anyone... Okay, so that's why I wanted to bring this up, because I remember, we've often said, if you're going to act like a man and hit a man, don't be mad when he hits back. But does that give anyone the right to use violence to prove a point? I hate it happened, but this couldn't have been avoided if she it could have been avoided if she walked away like he did. Yet she engaged on her getting suspended was justified because she swung and hit him first, and him getting arrested was justified because he took it too far. So I guess they're saying they're both wrong. I don't know. I'd have to see this video.
I'm trying to find it. It might go next on the slide.
Oh, you're right.
Okay, you won. No, I'm gonna get on you. Why you gonna get on? I'm sorry. Get her. No, she did it because that's true. Because not one person. Yes, it is true. Was you there? Who else said it? There's not just one. Multiple people. All of them. People that we were all here. I didn't even know. Okay, you can walk away. I think it's better for you to walk away. I didn't say it. So. Okay, why are you walking away and trying to talk to me? Why don't you come back?
Because you just told her to walk away.
So this is the of course they're not going to show everything. But from what the reports were, that she hit first. And I think right there, just looking at that, she handled herself fine. I'd love to see if there's a video of her actually hitting.
I saw the video of them fighting, but you don't see who hits first, so I don't know. I don't know.
Of course, people are bringing this up. Oh man.
I guess look, if they're both fighting, then they both should be suspended.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. If she did swing first, then of course he has every right to swing back. But if she didn't and he just hauled off and hit her,
yeah,
then you can have that discussion. But I heard he's been charged with a felony, so I don't even know what more discussion needs to be had. Well, it says he avoids hate crime charges, and of course this is on Rashard Ritchie, Undisputable. They're going to talk about this as if it is this big. It's not a big deal. It's kids. This is really what this is. This is kids regurgitating what they hear their parents say.
Mm-hmm.
It's kids listening to podcasts, they're in Discord servers, and they hear other people talk like this. And I know this for a fact because people sit in Discord right now. I could go to Discord right now, and there's somebody saying the N-word, typing it, saying it out loud, calling black people this. There's somebody saying, cracker, honky. They're in these servers doing it. So if these kids are saying it, then maybe we need to be looking at parents saying, what are you subjecting your kid to?
Yeah.
This
I
is what I
agree.
meant. Like when you start arguing about the color of Ariel, when you start arguing about the color of Disney characters and
Beyonce.
princesses, who's listening to all this? These kids
Yeah.
internalize that and then they go take it out on each other. You
Right.
can't do that to society and be like racism.
Mhm.
Both races equally hate each other. So let's just stop.
Yeah. You're
He
right.
felt some type of way and so did she.
You're right.
It's high school students being stupid. That's what I'm saying, bro. Like, quit
Well,
making isn't it don't make a mountain out of a molehill?
out of a molehill. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, that's right. Man. The news cycle's kind of slow.
Ain't nothing happening.
Ain't a damn
Say no
thing
to
happening.
racism. Dang, bro. Like, we gotta do better.
Yeah.
We gotta
We
do
got to
better.
do better, people. We got to do better. Like I said earlier, stop letting the internet raise your children. Dude, I've been trying to see. So this Derek Chauvin, who was charged or who was stabbed 22 times
Yeah.
by an inmate, according to Fox News on the Jesse Waters show, he says the inmate has stated that he was doing it in solidarity with BLM. He was but he was a
What?
white gang member.
You're kidding me.
Yeah, let me just make sure that I have this correct. Let me just pull up the Jesse Waters show. Hold
He
on.
did it in solidarity, bro. What?
Yeah, I had never heard of nobody getting stabbed like that in solidarity.
Say phone check, homie, phone check. That's what they did. That's messed up. 22 times though. Like, how is he still alive?
I don't know. That's crazy,
How is he
right?
still alive? You know what? I actually feel bad for Derek Chauvin. Chauvin. I don't know how you say it.
Mhm.
Because although I don't think he properly did his job, right? I also don't think he outright murdered a man or had premeditation. I think he acted as a bad cop that day.
All right.
But George Floyd took drugs and he tried to use a counterfeit 20 and he had his own personal struggles. Candace Owens highlighted that. It doesn't mean he
Mhm.
was a bad guy. It doesn't mean that he deserved death, but it does mean that there is some context and some nuance that we're not adding to this discussion. And now a man is in jail getting stabbed 22 times for a murder he didn't commit.
Right.
Just think about that.
So this is what it says. It says federal prosecutors announced today attempted murder charges against an Arizona inmate and an ex-FBI informant a week after ex-Minneapolis cop Derek Chauvin was stabbed 22 times inside a library at the Tucson Penitentiary, where they were both inmates. John Turskak, who's 52, is also facing multiple assault charges and inflicting serious bodily injury with an improvised knife around 12:30 p.m. on Black Friday. How funny they did it on Black Friday. I'm sorry to laugh, but that's just funny. A day the suspect allegedly told investigators he picked to symbolize the Black Lives Matter movement. How dumb is that? Which spurred months of protests around the country in connection with the death of George Floyd, yada, yada, yada. Federal correction officers intervened immediately, according to the court filings, dousing him with pepper spray. He allegedly told the guards he would have killed Chauvin if the guards hadn't reacted so fast. When he waived his Miranda rights, he allegedly told the FBI about the Black Friday symbolism, and he said he planned the attack for a month. Prosecutors said he was an FBI informant in 1997, providing information about his gang as well as recordings of conversations between him, members, and associates. The investigation resulted in 40 indictments, but halfway through, Tusek was dropped as an informant because he was dealing drugs and extorting money. Oh, man.
This is what I was talking about. I'm sorry, I have to write this down real quick because I don't want to forget my point.
Okay.
This is what I was talking about when we were speaking on the conflict that shall not be brought up, right?
Mhm.
When I was speaking on the political propaganda on both sides that is galvanizing extremists.
Mhm.
This is a direct example of that with BLM. politicians galvanized just very easily swayed, easily manipulated Black people into killing people
Mhm.
for the sake of an unrighteous cause such as BLM.
Right.
Like that is nuts. The fact that someone said that they did this in the name of that
Mhm.
is it's crazy to me. Can you imagine a white organization rallying behind Black death, and then we hear
Right.
about a stabbing committed in jail, and this man was stabbed 22 times, a Black man, and it
Yep.
was because this white man was doing it in the name of white supremacy?
Can you
Like,
imagine?
can you imagine that?
That I can't imagine that because it would just never happen. It would never go down that
Crazy
way.
to me.
It would never
That's
go down that way.
wild. Galvanize.
Yeah.
Go look up that word. That's what they're doing to American citizens, dude. It's not funny. I think you have to laugh to keep from just being like, bro,
Yeah,
what?
completely disgusted.
It's wild.
Yeah. Totally wild.
That's scary, dude. It's freaking
Well,
scary.
I
Did we
think
get
we're
through all our topics? That's
we got
crazy.
we got through an interview and all our topics
Oh, dang.
in
Look.
2 hours and 22 minutes.
I didn't realize you guys are still going to be on tonight after this week. I'm so happy to see you guys, even though you're wrapping up. Welcome back to the land of the living, Christine. Welcome.
Yeah, you missed our interview.
You miss Bailey. You miss Bambi. Guys, if you know any more recipients for the Horror No More movement, send them our
Submit 'em.
way. Men or women, doesn't
Mhm.
matter. She says submit an application. We should have an application process. We should really put together a Google form.
We really should, because I really just want to see your social media, and like maybe we should. I really need to see your social media before I even entertain an interview with you. But I feel like this is going to be like something that, one day people are going to be like, I was on the Horror No More rehabilitation program.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're going to solve a lot of the world's problems with this program.
We really are.
Yeah.
Because whores are running the world right now. Men and women.
They're ruining the
Whores
world.
dictate culture. So whore no more.
Whores dictate. Hey, Gabs.
Yeah, you didn't hear what's her name? I don't want to say her name because she might threaten to sue me.
Who?
But she said hoes are winning.
Oh, Linda.
Yeah, you could say it. I ain't gonna
Yeah.
say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is somebody and after this I gotta go because my daughter, she's like, she clearly wants to talk to me. But somebody wrote me and they were mad because Corinne like reposted like a link or whatever for Linda's jewelry, because she like purchases stuff from her jewelry her jewelry company, and they're like, I really like Corinne, but I can't believe she supported Linda after what she did to you. And I was like, listen, I like Corinne and she can be friends with Linda. I'm no one to tell her who she can be friends with. And
Yeah.
then she was like, yeah, but she went after your daughter and that was like really terrible what she did. And I said, but doesn't that speak to what kind of person Linda is more than I could ever trash her in a skit or whatever? Like,
Yeah.
it should clearly tell you that the great life that she tries to portray that she has is not so great after all, when you have to go after people the way she went after my daughter.
Yeah, she's a very bitter person, for sure.
Yeah.
There's no
So
happiness within her.
she may be proud to be a hot girl and, part of the cool girls club and all this other stuff, but she's clearly not happy,
Right.
And I think, people are just like amazed that we did the Linda skit and then like we just dropped it and it was just nothing to us. But I mean, I don't really care. Like,
It's not that big of a deal. It is what it is.
it is what it
What are you gonna
is.
do about it?
Yeah.
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah. And maybe
Not
Linda, if you're listening, I'm sure you know a lot of horrors. Send them our way. We'll fix them.
Yes, please. We will fix them because I know you don't want to.
Right.
I know you don't want to. But we do. So please make sure you send those people over. Also, I want to end the show with a new merch alert. You guys, please go check this out. We're going to be really, really pushing these specific pieces of merch If you want to go buy it, please sign up on our email subscription list. You get 10% off your first purchase. And yeah, just, support a good cause. Support independent journalism. Support people trying to be objective and give you accurate news.
Yep.
And sitting here covering 3-hour debates that are saying absolutely nothing, but we're offering commentary.
Yeah.
Help us out, because this doesn't work unless you guys support us.
Yes.
It doesn't work that way.
And you get literally everything here. Okay. So if you buy a t-shirt, if you donate, you're getting a lot for your money. Okay. You're not getting a one-sided view. One day we're talking politics, the next day we're talking whores. Like, where else are you going to find that? Where else? Where else are you going to find that? I challenge you.
Do you know what just happened on this? Just populated right in front of me.
Oh God.
We can now put videos in the background. Oh, this show's bro, it's about to be fun.
What do you mean it just populated right in front of you? How come it didn't populate in front of me?
It updated. I don't know. I have no clue, but I'm about to nerd out on some like design stuff. I've already been starting on a bunch of different things. Whenever you're done, hit me up. Thank you guys for watching. Do you have anything else to add? Sorry, I'm just shutting the show down. I'm not even asking.
No, just like, subscribe, and definitely come back Tuesday. We'll have another show.
Yeah, come back Tuesday. Hopefully we'll have some more politically driven discussions. Maybe we'll get to see Trump come out and, debate, because it's getting down to the wire. I want to see him debate. I want to see him do something.
Yeah. I think we're going to cover every debate from here on out.
Get Trump on board. Okay. You got this. I feel like you got this with Trump. Tell him we want to see him debate.
Yeah. Tell him. Hashtag somewhere in the middle. Bye, guys. Have a good weekend.
Good night.